Futures downside to start here this morning as we await the final big earnings report of this earnings season to come after the close tonight. We'll get NVIDIA. A little bit of caution, maybe ahead of that, as market is pulling back here this morning. We do get the Fed minutes coming up later this afternoon as well. I mean, it's always an after-the-fact type of event. We're looking backwards with the Fed minutes, obviously. So we will get a little bit more detail as to how the last Fed meeting went, but overall, shouldn't be too much of a big deal. That being said, more Fed speakers to come throughout the day as well. Tesla on the move, downside this morning. We'll touch on that. Sales over in Europe a little bit weaker than expected for Tesla. Target with earnings today, downside in a big way here, 7+% already. PDD the other direction, huge blowout report for Pinduoduo. So lots to get into this morning ahead of, the big one to come. NVIDIA coming up after the close tonight. I know you have your leather jacket warmed up and ready to go for
always, Brendo.
NVIDIA earnings.
And I've been told by Neil and Sean that I have to wear it irrespective of whether they do better or worse.
It's officially a thing.
Yeah, so definitely going to get on that tomorrow. Yeah, big expectations tonight, guys. Lots of information leaking in about who's buying what. We know that the hyperscalers, one of the hyperscalers looked to scale down some of their purchases of the H100. Amazon coming out yesterday and saying they're postponing that. But more details came out on that. It's only one of their divisions, not the whole thing.
Yeah, and like you and I were saying yesterday, I mean, it's not like they're canceling orders. It's just a delayed effect for NVIDIA. NVIDIA kind of flat right now ahead of what is to come tonight. I just brought up this Woof. Remember Woof? Petco up big time, or it was up big time, gets all the way to 350 on better than expected results from Woof as well. Another one to look at. Decent volume behind this as well. Already 1 million plus shares for Petco, online pet retailer. Shopify as well with a nice look this morning. Shop up on a Goldman. Positive note, I saw a nice upgrade for Shop back to $59, essentially where it started yesterday. Pretty ugly day yesterday, though, for Shop, guys. Good morning.
Hey, what's up?
What up?
So yesterday, I'm surprised I even have my mic on.
Well, it was you yesterday.
No, we take turns doing it. I feel like
I'm pretty proud of.
I had 3 in a row.
Yeah,
I was like, I gotta give Sean a turn to go mute.
I'm all discombobulated. I will be leaving shortly. I have to go meet my parents, but then I'm coming right back. So I was just checking a text with them. That's not the excuse. But yesterday we talked about Shopify, and I said this is a name. I don't know if you guys remember me saying this, but I said this is a name that's been hit down, and it was just a random talk at about 9 o'clock. I said I'm waiting for an upgrade from Shopify because I thought that we looked at Starbucks off that 72, and I said Shopify right now seems like it's kind of baselining, and I liked this break of 60. So today, and I said we're just one upgrade away from this name coming right back. So there it is. It came through today. It's Goldman coming to save the day. But as Brendan said yesterday, it didn't catch a bid at all day. So would have been nice to take the bottom there. We still could fall down, but it's nice to see a nice little 3% move to the north side here for Shopify. So yeah, it's on radar for sure. And then NVIDIA.
I mean,
yeah, I mean, we were looking at it yesterday, and the thing is that, yeah, that story got a little bit, I guess, misinterpreted, of course, and that's why you had this huge move down. And no, it wasn't even that huge, to be honest with you. Like 956 down to 934, that's just like a regular day, $20. That's not even the average true range of NVIDIA, 20. So it drops down 20 and then makes it all back. Pretty much, and then closes at the highs and makes it all back, not pretty much, completely. So yeah, if that's the story for NVIDIA, if these chips are going to continue to be bought, Neil, then I mean, the story continues for NVDA, and it's going to make everybody selling it look stupid. So we'll see about it long.
Yeah, it's hard to say otherwise with NVIDIA, but tonight the proof will be in the pudding, right? So all of these other names are going to matter as well. You know, whether you're trading NVIDIA or you're into AMD or you're looking at ARM or I mean like Marvell probably is going to be moving around as well. Like just everything in that chip space is going to be huge. That said, it's good to get the clarification. Obviously, NVIDIA has a chance to break out a top today, so we'll have eyes on that. I like to set up on Shopify 59.50 looks really good, and we'll get to that chart in a little bit. But yeah, don't sleep on some of these other these other big cap names. On earnings day, sometimes you can be somewhat quiet. I mean, Amazon had a good bounce off the 50 period after a big downward trend. They're revamping Alexa with AI. Still flat on that news, but this is one that was moving pretty decently yesterday and did a nice little V-shaped recovery. So don't sleep on them. Apple had a strong day. I like Apple again today. So there's a lot to look at. Don't get me wrong. NVIDIA, this is the Super Bowl of earnings, and it's NVIDIA's day.
Yeah.
But there's a heck of a lot else looking good. Microsoft just made a new all-time high.
Oh, yeah.
Pinduoduo just made a 52-week high. Like, there's so many things out there. I know it's NVIDIA's show,
PDD.
but we got a lot to watch today, and it should be a fun one.
All right, we were just talking about BuzzFeed here. BZFD, big move here in the pre-market. We're all the way up at $4, 402 in fact here. So 250 yesterday, gets up to $4. Vivek Ramaswamy revealing a stake in BZFD. You and I were just saying, I thought this thing was bankrupt. Apparently not, or on its way to becoming. There was a split that happened not too long ago, reverse split, but yeah, all the way back to $4 on this.
Yeah, I know. It's up 90% this year, but well off the all-time highs of $40. You'll recall this name made a big AI move last year where a lot of the large language models were looking to use its data to train the models, kind of like how Reddit is trying to use their data right now to help train certain models. So we'll keep an eye on BZFD breaking through $4, 62% up on the day. Not a bad look.
More retail earnings to digest here this morning as well. This one's had quite the year, even year and a half, going back to the middle of last year. This is Williams-Sonoma. Huge gap to the upside here, 340. Going to open around 340 here for WSM. Better than expected results for them, and upping their forecast across the board here for Williams-Sonoma. They just closed the store in the Eaton Center down here.
Oh, yeah? I didn't know that.
It's gone, yeah. So, I mean, maybe some cost cutting for them as well.
Well, I mean, whatever they're doing, it's working. That's the more important thing.
They have a big one on Bloor,
Yeah,
though.
they're still here. They closed one, but there's a bigger one open close. But it doesn't matter. You guys care whether we can go to Williams-Sonoma 10 minutes further away.
I can't afford no damn Williams-Sonoma.
But the point is, the number of stocks that are making 52 or all-time highs when the market's at highs is obviously going to be a little bit elevated right now. This feels like a difficult chase. I'm gonna get back to BuzzFeed in a second because I kind of wanted to say some things about BuzzFeed. Like, this will be a difficult chase on Williams-Sonoma because the volume is so incredibly light. And if you look at, the trend is fantastic, but if you look at the last time it put in a day like this, it was just shoot and then calm down and then make another move. So I think this is one of those, let it consolidate after earnings and then make the next play. Clearly the 50 period has been very kind to WSM. I don't know where my 200 period moving average is. I probably haven't gone back far enough there. Yeah, it's so extended. I wouldn't be trading this. The volume's way too low right off the open. But that BuzzFeed, sometimes it's more about that float getting tiny. It's a 15 million float after split, and you're just essentially getting it soaked up in the squeeze here because it's done 15 million shares, and I see the float as 15 million. So it's already run through the float once, and it's very, very choppy, this BuzzFeed chart. Super choppy.
Super hot fire.
Super choppy.
Super,
Randy.
super. Hey, Tesla only went up 7% yesterday, by the way. Oh, what are you doing over there, by the way? You're keeping it half-half, or?
Well, we would fit. Wait a minute. I thought it was already 50-50.
Cheers. You got the red mug, so you got to deal.
I got ketchup.
You got to deal with shorts.
No, it's ketchup and mustard, man. These are like the McDonald's colors. I don't know. I think think it's more ketchup and mustard. These
Mustard
mugs.
coffee. What stock you want to look at,
that's so
Randy?
much
Let me see if you're XOM. Okay. I was going to call Polestar,
XOM.
see if your order got filled there yesterday. 117. I mean, we were looking at this name sub 100, and then it had that nice run up, two highs again of 123. Now pulling back, still above the 50-period moving average. Oil's pulled back a little bit coming into the summer months, but I feel like travel is going to be pretty big this summer. I don't know about anywhere else in the Northeast or Eastern Seaboard, but we are hot around here right now. Yeah. People going to be turning on the air conditioning, hopefully spending some money on energy. with that. So maybe XOM gets going now, but I don't know. I wonder about the seasonality of this because, you know, last summer, this was May right here. If you come to the chart, May last year, 117, and then it dipped down all summer before getting going, finally on that July bottom, back into August, up to the top again. And so maybe there's not too much seasonality in this name, but we'll see what happens with XOM. Did you ever wind up getting into that, or?
I did once.
You did, yeah. Okay.
Just the 100, right?
Okay.
The
Yeah,
golden
that's
cross
XOM.
on that chart, by the way.
Occidental Golden Cross, yeah. 63.
It's everywhere, Sharif.
Yeah, it's the best indicator of all time is the Golden Cross. 70 right there for, this might be a better name just because it's pulled back into the 200 period. Occidental is a name that's got Warren Buffett, Berkshire's in this name as well. Pull back in, obviously not the same operator as ExxonMobil, but $62 right there coming through for Oxy. But you liked Exxon for different reasons anyways, company specific,
I like
right?
their gas plays and their shale plays right now. So it's
He likes the gas and shale plays is what's happening.
gas and their shale plays, their rig counts are up. They've had some good moves in the last quarter, last 2 quarters really. I like their projection. Yes, the summer driving season is upon us. Gas and oil has pulled back, but people out in boats and you know, they're playing with the toys.
Of course.
So, you know, hopefully there's refined products there that are in use. I don't know. Inflation's still a thing. Some people can't afford to put, the gas in their toys as much as they could 5 years ago. So we'll see. We'll see how it plays out.
Especially when the administration released more reserves, specifically to keep summer driving costs down, which tells you that all that does is fuel the fire. That just tells you that oil's gonna be strong.
Hey, Randy. So I have to go because I got to take my mom to an appointment. So you want to sit here for a couple of seconds?
Sure.
All right.
Oh yeah.
So Randy, Sharif, Adair, we're doing something a little different. I will be back. By the way, my account is completely live. So do not push enter. All right, I'll be
As long as compliance isn't watching.
Yeah, I'll be right back.
It happens.
Nah, you make your own rules, Randy. That's what it's all about here. So
Is that good? You want to do that?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
good.
I'm out of here. See you guys.
Say hi to Debs for me.
Yeah, I will. She'll be back.
And your mic.
Just use that. You can use that mic.
use that way.
Use
It's
this
up to you. No, it's entirely up to you. You can use that wired mic if you want to. We got Randy in the building. And by the way, the answer to whether Randy got filled on Polestar, if that was him, is a resounding yes. So if you remember exactly this time yesterday, there was a 6 million buy order at $1.03. $1.03, and for the entire day. Remember, this time yesterday, we pointed out this 6 million share order, and all day long it held. It printed at 145 and instantly down. I'm just gonna remind myself, the next time I see that and an order like that gets filled, I'm just going short. Like, that was ridiculous how easy that should have been, obviously, in that moment. It is what it is, but hindsight being 2020, that was a monster order. It's on radar for me today, if only because it's back underneath that dollar level. This, and then I know everyone in the chat's looking at that BNED. Barnes & Noble got over $1 this morning and is now back underneath. So this can get back over $1. This could be a day 2 rally type play for a Barnes & Noble. So get comfortable, mess around. You got the charts up top.
Yeah.
You got the charts down there. I mean, you got the chat as well. Get Ramin on camera.
Getting adjustments here.
Okay, so first of all, Ramin is very, very professional in particular about making sure the mics are directionally in the right spot so that everything sounds good. And, Fabian and Ramin make us look and sound good all day long. So you just do exactly what they say, and then everything will be fine. But for now, while we're figuring that one out, let's head back to the desk.
All right, musical chairs is happening this morning, so Adair is joining me up here now. Sharif will be back at the desk here as well. So this will just be temporary. Sean will be back. So how are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. How are you?
It's on. Yeah, just double checking.
I'm good. How are you this morning?
Good, good. We were talking about this one over the past couple of days. MGOL, big move here in the pre-market so far, up to 275. It's come all the way back. But a little one that's had a lot of attention on social media. I mean, you've mentioned it the past couple of days. There really hasn't been much in the way of news on this otherwise. But a ton of volume here once again this morning.
That's going to be the case with a lot of these small caps. I know LIDR, that one got a little bit of a boost yesterday and some decent social media attention. Barnes & Noble, BNED, a lot of these names right now. Now the small caps are getting their time to shine in terms of these names running without a lot of catalyst, but with lots of volume.
Yeah, we've discussed these types of moves in the past with Luis over in Spain when he joins us every other Thursday, I think this week actually he's going to be on. So check that out coming up tomorrow morning. But anytime you get that initial move early on in the pre-market and then it fades the majority of that, as this has done, he's always in favor of not looking for a long on days like this, guys, for MGOL.
So, well, we'll talk some, and we're just mentioning BNED, which is a small cap runner. See, these aren't like GameStop, Randy, in terms of like having like that meme craze behind them and then getting Wall Street bets. But it's like a similar phenomenon with these smaller float names. So Mogul and Barnes & Noble, this is actually, MGOL is MGO Global. I'm just calling it Mogul because MGOL. And then BNED, which is Barnes & Noble, both were big runners in yesterday's trade, looking for continuation. I would submit that Barnes & Noble has the better looking pre-market. We were just showing you a bit choppy, but it was at least in an upward pattern. That said, Mogul here double tapped 150 once in the morning and then once again or late in the afternoon. They're right at the close. And you're holding on to that 150. So when you have like those resistance levels turn into support, that can be a big one. And then you throw in, like I think you almost look even back at like this 130 level. Like if it bounces 150 or 130, maybe lulls people to sleep when this downward pull and then can hold on for the opening range. One of those late day or late morning rallies would make sense in MGOL. But these are pure squeeze-ish type plays. As I said, Barnes & Noble maybe a little bit stronger, but not by much in the pre-market. A little bit of a chop fest there, but if it gets back above $1, you know what these stocks can do. Like I almost think Barnes & Noble off the open might be just worth a shot, breaking back above $1. If it holds on to 90 as the bottom, I mean a long one with a 90 stop. Like that's a trade I've had before. And then there's so much. It's not that it's free money. It's that you know where you're wrong. You're
Unless
risking.
you see that pullback at the open, and then
Yeah, you just want to be able to get out. Don't get stopped out if it halts to the downside. Because on the daily chart, once you get past 120, there's literally nothing there on Barnes & Noble. It's a monster gap fill. And the dollar level also happens to somewhat correspond with the 200 period if you happen to like that. I think there's a little bit of juice for this one above $1. And I didn't say yesterday if Barnes & Noble got to $1 I was interested. But it's failed it already pre-market, which makes it a teensy bit tricky there.
a teensy.
What's wrong with teensy?
Teensy's good.
It's good?
Teensy's good.
It's not word of the day good, though.
Well, no, not yet.
No.
Not yet. Yeah, I was looking at Tesla again. I'm waiting for Tesla semi numbers. Now, the semis don't fly up on high in the radar for their production numbers and deliveries and whatnot, but Pepsi is supposed to be taking delivery of more semis, I think this week. So we'll find out. There's other semi news that's sort of waiting in the wings. I was on Reddit last night for a bit, just checking out to see what's going on. There's some interesting little plays going on. Whether it's going to move the needle on the stock, you can look at my chart today. We're down 2% pre-market here, but I don't see it going very far. It's not a huge part of the business. It's almost like the Tesla power side.
Right.
The power walls, their solar panels, and that's blooming in California and a lot of the southern states. They're moving a lot of panels, but the market's weak. There's a lot of saturation. The Chinese panels are much cheaper. So it's a play there. Well, whether we see it, again, moves the needle or not yet. But the semis are a big promise from Elon. So he's promised lots.
He makes a lot of
He makes a lot of promises, and his payday might have a bit of an impact on the, was it 50?
Don't get me started there.
I know.
Because
He's got the coffee money.
you know what? No, don't get me started, but you know who actually rants the most about this? Not to call him out or anything, but it's Sharif. No, I'm just saying, Sharif, is it not true? Because from the legal aspect of things and how the pay package went, like.
Oh yeah.
Like it's kind of
look, dude. Again, I have my own personal opinions on this, but when you contract into something, there needs to be certainty of contract, right? And so if I end up, giving up my salary for 3 or 4 years to be compensated at the end after achieving certain results, I need that certainty. I need to be able to know that after X amount of time, I'm going to be able to recoup. So it's really frustrating for me, and I think a lot of investors as well felt as frustrated as, we're joking about it, but in reality, it's not a good look, Neil.
No, I think it is frustrating.
Exactly.
I agree. It's Elon.
Well, it's Elon being Elon. As far as the stock goes, like that, it was a rocket ship yesterday. I know it's on the watch list, and we're going to get to that when we run things down in a bit. But only because you happen to mention Reddit, I just don't want everybody to forget about this stock as the memes calm down a little bit. So when GameStop and AMC fall back and all of it eventually and everyone forgets about it, Reddit won't have gone anywhere. You just heard that news with BuzzFeed about monetizing user base, and Reddit's already doing that. That's a lot of the bump that they got. Now you're getting a consolidation off the top in Reddit. 56. I had a line in there, but whatever. I'm not going to bother redrawing it because I don't know if I'll trade this today. But that 56 is double bottomed. If that gets tested again today and makes another bounce off 56, I think that's looking like a great consolidation long for a bit of a run into the highs. So don't sleep on Reddit. I know it was part of that meme craze and calm down a little bit, but suddenly it might give you a bit of a trade. I'm talking about GameStop like it's over. They're still at like 20, 21 bucks or something like that. But if everything else winds down, they'll still be standing.
All right, Amazon continuing here to take out highs once again, back to 184 and change. We had a note just as we came on there at 8:30 on Alexa getting an AI-driven overhaul. Makes a lot of sense, obviously, for Amazon, but just keep that in mind. It is relatively strong, 0.5% to the upside into a pretty weak market here so far this morning. I want to mention this as well. This Hims stock, Hims and Hers, popped up 2 days ago on that GLP-1 headline. Faded off a little bit yesterday, downside again today to the tune of almost 4%. 1680 acting as support here. Citigroup with a downgrade this morning on this one.
And it's pretty interesting too because this Citigroup downgrade, from what I'm reading of this analyst note from Daniel Grosslight, seems basically entirely related to that GLP-1 story, saying that because they jumped 20% on Monday after that story, they're not sure how much upside the stock has. However, they did raise the price target from 16 to 20, saying that they do like the idea that this GLP-1 will give them an extra revenue stream. They just don't know how much farther the stock can go as of right now. So really interesting note here and downgrade from Citigroup. An
absolute monster, meanwhile. If you go back to, what is this, October of last year, this thing was $6. So, I mean, still, we're 10x from where it was October of last year on this. Monster volume came in, rightfully so, on that GLP-1 headline a couple days ago, guys.
12.5% short float. That's part of the story. It's not a huge float in general. 185. I mean, yeah, 185 million is decent enough that it's not necessarily going to get soaked up. It means you're going to churn through that float really quickly. It's more about the short than anything else. However, one of my favorite things in trading in terms of setups is previous resistance turning into support. That's what needs to happen today. I don't know why the volume's so light on it. I thought there'd be a little bit more action in this pre-market, but you're pretty much at that level, that 17, 16 and a half, 17. So if it finds a base in there, I think it could have a second salvo. All you've done is sell off since that news, so there needs to be some kind of a consolidation bottom, or you got to move to something else, right? So if it consolidates down here, there's an opportunity in Hims, but we've shown you guys, like BNED's moving, BuzzFeed pulled back a little bit, but that's also moving around. We still have GameStop still going to be in there, and then that Barnes & Noble's good. I heard Sharif mention something about BuzzFeed, and I looked over and it was, I don't know if this candle's real. I want to say this one's not real, but it did just dip back into view up and bounce. And as I said, this is a very choppy stock, this pre-market. Like it's trending to the upside, but it's basically handing out 10% moves and retracements like candy. I need this one to open up and show me some consistency or levels before I get into BuzzFeed. But it's very much in play today, 16 million shares.
Interesting. I don't really know much about BuzzFeed, but that's crazy. That's a crazy move. That's yikes. I don't know.
It's a scary. I don't, Sharif, you trade these small cap gappers. I'm saying BuzzFeed crazy. Let's let this one open up. But what are your thoughts here with BuzzFeed?
These small cap gappers definitely have to open up above the pre-market high, or they have to not open up, but they have to actually, after the open, get above the pre-market high. So right now what we got is a 420 pre-market high that printed at 814, guys, screen. 814, 420 pre-market high just dips right now into the volume weighted average price and immediately got bought up. Prior to that, though, on the 1 minute chart, it had been doing that magnetic effect into the 50-period moving average, hugging the 50-period essentially from 6:40 a.m. until it broke it right here at 8:50. Lo and behold, the next support level after the 50 is volume weighted average price, and it does reclaim that quickly. So a couple of things I'll be looking for after the bell. Does this have a definable pre-market high? Yes, $4.20. Is it trading above the pre-market high at 420? We'll see. Is it above VWAP? Those are the three things I'll be looking for on BZFD after the bell.
Getting high at 420.
Yeah, get high at 420. And no Stephen Canoro in the chat. Stephen, Sean just had to run an errand. He'll be back. Randy stepping in. Sharif's over the desk doing a bit of musical chairs. But now we're going over to the screen because Adara's got some upgrades and downgrades for us.
Shopify starting the day off really strong after this upgrade from Goldman Sachs. They also raised the price target from 67 to 74. It's not at all a bad look for SHOP to start the day. Chipotle getting this upgrade from Oppenheimer and a price target over $3,000, so not a bad look for them either. Urban Outfitters, pretty nice response to their earnings last night, and Telsey Advisory Group responding nicely as well, giving this one an upgrade. Piper Sandler as well, giving this upgrade to Kraft Heinz. The downgrade side, Li Auto, recent Chinese EV earning coming on Monday, getting this downgrade from CLSA. Albemarle getting downgraded by Scotiabank. Garmin with this B of A Securities downgrade, and Box, last but not least, down about 2% after getting this downgrade from Morgan Stanley, guys.
So you're in the seat, so I'm going to throw this one right to you because Li Auto with that downgrade, that chart looks putrid.
You know what? Again, Li Auto, they've had some good quarters, but competition is really stiff. Guys, there's so much production coming out of China right now. Factories opening up in Europe. We talked about Polestar the other day as well. Yes, they're owned 72% by Geely, another Chinese manufacturer. I don't see the demise of Polestar at all. I think they're going to reposition it as a sub-brand, which it is, a Geely. The Chinese are putting out huge production of cars. What does that mean? You saturate an already saturated possible market domestically, and then you move into Europe and Malaysia and South America and other markets where they haven't yet had the penetration. And it hurts the stock. Like, look at this. It's flat right now pre-market, but yikes. The competition is stiff. Their margins are down. Profits are down. There's a lot of inventory piling up in Asia. They've showed videos, of export yards with tens of thousands of vehicles sitting there. Buses, heavy trucks, all the electric things they make. So, it's a cutthroat industry. And while they're really good at building cars, somebody has to buy them.
Ain't that the truth?
Ain't that the truth,
And it's not getting that much better for them. Where are we at if you go all the way back, and I'm talking on a weekly chart, you gotta go back to like November of 2022 when it was like $13. Like that, look, if it fails underneath $20, there's not a lot standing in the way of it. And the clean resistance that it had up at like 50, just seems like that was an obvious sell. Whether it retests those lows, I don't know, but I can tell you that every single EV name that looks like this has retested the lows, pretty much. And I don't think that'll be any different. There was Shopify on that list, and I know we talked a little bit about that. On my note today, I got Shopify for a breakout. I also like a dip in this. It's a Goldman Sachs upgrade. That said, it's the whole post-plunge earnings and then a consolidation setup that I also like as well. Whether they get an upgrade or downgrade, I think if this can just take out 59.5, and you can see it's now made a double bottom. If you count yesterday, this is a triple bottom at $57. And then the setup after that is you calm down after earnings, make a double or triple bottom, and then break out the top. You can call the top 60. I'm looking at like 59.5 here on Shopify. So it's just a pure setup, happens to have the upgrade going for it as well, but Shop looks pretty strong. I cringe, Sharif, at Li Auto But what? Well, I mean, yeah, but you trade that stock.
You know, I held this one for a swing. I've actually never traded it intraday, Neil, but interesting look. Let's look at the chart. This is the daily. So Neil had a fantastic look at the weekly, but this is the daily. And I want to make a couple of observations here, with the exception of this outsized move, and that was an earnings beat, and that quickly retraced. We are in a very established and defined downward channel, essentially, since printing those highs in August of 2023. So that's the first thing here. To point out why I'm pointing out this channel is we're at the bottom end of the channel. So I could be looking here for a $20 bounce on Li Auto to coincide with that $10 level and the bottom end of the channel. In addition to that, look at the RSI. So the RSI is on the bottom, the zigzagging line at the bottom here. Every time we printed a 20 print on the RSI, we've seemed to be able to bounce back off that. So even though it's a bad look for Li Auto, I'm looking at the technicals here, and there's a lot pointing to possible support. So I'll be looking for the next few days to see whether or not it can catch a bid, guys.
Didn't hear.
All right, let's get into everything else we need to know here. As per usual, Sharif's not in his normal spot, but I'm sure he can pull up a chart. All right, we're good. Let's get a look at the futures.
Yeah, I'm going to chart the NQ today because I just I got caught off a little bit by surprise there. 18.8, guys, on the NQ is the level that we've been dealing with for a little bit of time now. Yesterday's closing print right at that 18.8 area. It's 18.798, so just a smidge below that. So if we continue to move up here, and I see NVIDIA and Meta are moving up these markets, let's use 18.8 as that level of support. If we give way at 18.8, let's go ahead and look at this level over here, 18.7 2/3. That was a top that we really couldn't break through yesterday until the afternoon on the NQ.
All right, let's do this. If you have not done so yet, make sure you grab that. Super easy. Go to the website, tradertv.live, wait for the pop-up, enter your email address, and then you get the watch list for absolutely nothing every single day. Comes right to your inbox. NVIDIA is going right now, actually, just about to take out the highs ahead of earnings to come after the close tonight. 0.5% here already as the market starts to get going at 9 o'clock here. But yeah, no news now, but there's going to be a lot coming up after 4 o'clock tonight.
And I think the big thing, too, with NVIDIA is we did have that move down yesterday with regards to that Amazon story that, oh, Amazon's halting their orders for these chips, waiting for the more advanced chips. However, then Amazon or AWS comes through and actually clarifies to Reuters, actually, it's just for that one joint project. Yep. Everything else is all good. So I think that clarification, well, certainly not the only thing propelling NVIDIA. We did have earnings coming up tonight, of course. I don't think that hurt either. So nice little move to the upside here for NVIDIA to kick off what should be a pretty interesting day and week for the stock. Yeah,
the market not really playing along here. We're back to positive on the NASDAQ, but it's basically flat. Same story for the ES. Still slightly negative, but here goes NVIDIA, guys, already.
You had a feeling this might make a bit of a run. Whether or not yesterday some sellers that maybe were going to take profit before earnings, maybe they just took that opportunity on that headline, which of course ended up needing clarification. Maybe they did that, and that can pave the way for a bit of a rally today. Ideally, this would have waited until the open for a break of this top. So, best laid plans are irrelevant. Everyone knows that. I could throw some kind of euphemism out there or something like if you really wanted it. But back into 955, 950 is level, 945. Essentially on dips, it's like every $5 into here I think is worth looking for it. At the open, you've had these big buy candles on NVIDIA the last couple. I think it's like 3 of the last 4 days or something like that. You had these big buy candles, and essentially, if that doesn't happen today, I'd be looking for the dip. In chip space, I know it's a sympathy play, and I know everyone's going to look to see if AMD can follow NVIDIA, but as long, and I've been trading this every single day that's been here, as long as this is just hugging the 50 period and consolidating this level, it's been a good short on AMD if you can catch the highs up at 68, 69, Yesterday it was the 65 level. That won't come into play. I think you got to look back into the actual top here at 67. So 67 and 69, I think, can still be some fades for AMD. But as far as NVIDIA goes, if it does that little dip at the open, just got to look for it to hold one of those even dollars. At the end of the day, they're expecting 8% in terms of movement after market. Like, that's the kind of number that can double no problem.
Yep.
Like, forget about the range today. After market, it could easily double it.
As long as that AI train keeps chugging, they're going to keep cranking out the volume. As long as they can keep their production issues down to, to a dull roar and make everybody's requesting cards and the chips, can they keep up with demand? They're leading the parade. They have everybody else, if they can keep up, they should be okay. It's going to be a huge number, I think.
Oh, the numbers always impress. It's just a matter of do they impress enough? Because the expectations are always going to be sky high on this name. But a bit of a disappointment there with the next name in EU sales, despite the fact that Tesla was maybe, I don't want to call it the strongest name out there, but if you just look at the regular stocks that we trade, from a percentage basis, I mean, Tesla was an absolute beast. But what's the deal with them today, guys?
Yeah, a couple things to note here for Tesla. Monster Day yesterday, there was a couple of headlines that came out. One on the Pepsi side. Pepsi signing up for a whole bunch of semi-trucks from Tesla. That was about here when we got that secondary move. There's this note this morning coming out of, as you guys were mentioning there, Bloomberg reporting that European sales were down significantly to a 15-month low, 13,951 in April. So some discounts possibly in order to light a fire maybe under some buyers over in Europe again.
And one thing as well that was mentioned in the report specifically is the fact that Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, actually did highlight saying that he thought this quarter would be, quote, a lot better. So definitely not a great number to be getting so early in the quarter. Apparently also worth noting, sales in Germany specifically dropped in Tesla, but increased overall for EVs. So doing comparatively weaker than what we're seeing in some of these other EVs in Europe, guys. So that's certainly worth note.
Yeah, I mean, after the move yesterday as well, maybe a bit of a pullback needed here this morning for Tesla. There was also this note, the Model 3 exceeding range. I've actually seen a few reviews of this, or the performance version of the Model 3 exceeding expectations across the board. It's not even available yet, but 303-mile EPA range on the performance version of the Model 3, beating initial estimates for Tesla as well. Randy, I also just saw that 2,100 plus Lamborghinis getting recalled in the U.S.
Which is big because they don't really sell that many
That's
compared to, say,
number.
That's a big number, but maybe they're taking a page out of
What's
Ford's
going
book.
on here?
Oh, how the tides have turned.
Coffee for you, fine sir?
I wasn't sure what you want. Got 2 milk. I wasn't sure what you're.
That's good.
All right.
Is it the almond milk?
So there we go. So how are things going over here?
Randy's killing it.
Wow, this looks like a really impressive operation here. What does it take to get on a show like this?
Well, you know what? This is an extensive vetting process that
Okay.
we have to do, which didn't exist for any of us here.
Why the hell am I long 5,000 shares of Tesla? What exactly is happening
You
here?
might have to open some windows back up. By the way.
Yeah, I see that.
It's all good.
All right.
It's all good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm out of here.
back to Brendan's comments about the, I mean, again, the semi usually flies under the radar. Deliveries down in Europe. The extended range of the Model 3 is good news. Overall, don't forget we had a fire, or no, an electrical substation fire in Berlin and sabotage, and I mean, there's been issues there. I mean, I expect deliveries in Europe to actually level out. Are they going to be depressed a little bit? Yes, there's a bit of market saturation going on, but as long as they're still producing and delivering, again, no Model 2 in sight. But the semi deliveries to Pepsi, it's again, it flies under the radar. I was reading on Reddit last night. It's a bigger piece of the pie ongoing. We don't always talk about commercial electric vehicles, but they have a huge impact on a lot of companies' bottom lines, including Pepsi, Anheuser-Busch, Costco. There was other manufacturers or companies that were buying these semis. So it really long-term projects some profit margin to them. Tesla, again, down just 2% here pre-market, but I do see a bounce back, but not right away. I think we're going to have to wait a little bit more for some good news and see what the delivery numbers are globally. Again, no word on the Model 2, but I think there's good things coming. It's just, the typical Elon noise.
Elon noise. So speaking of Elon noise, the stock is in the middle of it's not really Elon noise, but it's like right in the middle of yesterday's the range is just diddling. I don't even know what to tell you. I would have expected we'd be tighter to the 187 after the strength that we saw in yesterday's trade. 187 is the level on the daily. I got 180 still marked off, and I feel like if we're sitting in here in the middle of nowhere, 180 is the buy zone for me. It broke out from that level. You've now held the 50-period moving average after a bounce off to 200. I mean, all systems go. I think if you get to $200, there's resistance up at that price. 187 on the daily. It's already turned there.
You think it'll bounce around 180?
Yeah, I'm looking for the 180 dip buy. I don't have a bid out on it. I mean, it's 9:10, so there's still some time. But I'll be on that bid looking for a 180 bounce this morning. Yeah. I just don't like diddling in the middle. Oh, BNED just broke above $1, and there's a buyer above $1, so I'm long at 101. Very creatively there. That's Barnes & Noble, by the way. I know. I say BNED because BNED, but it's Barnes & Noble for everybody that actually cares about the actual name of the company there. Sean is absolutely chilling on that fantastic couch that we have, but he'll get back to his station to set a few things back up because I don't think those charts, you open that back up, I don't think that's linked properly. Let's go back and talk about, Target, that was bad. Yeah, Target's not good. Ugh. That sucked.
Yeah, downside in a pretty big way here. It's still falling right now. Actually, day lows coming into play here, coming off miss across the board for TGT, and also the forecast not meeting expectations. There's, I'm just going through a couple of negative notes from analysts on this one as well. But yeah, just actually going red here on this for the month as well. It wasn't actually positive.
Tough look for them. I'll talk about some of the things they did well before I list all the things they did poorly. Digital ad sales grew year over year. They're trying to grow e-commerce, so that's good. Improvement in apparel sales, which has higher margins on clothing, so that's good as well. Limited edition collection and unique items drove traffic and spending. What they did bad, Brendo, they missed earnings expectations for the first time since November of 2022. Definitely lower spending on discretionary items, which has higher margins, as we know, and more competition from like Walmart and Aldi, as well as a bit of a drop in cosmetics, which is another higher margin item.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, I think, across the board, regardless of what you're selling, to compete with online at this point. You know, even the exchanges are getting better if you want to, swap something out for a different size or whatever. I found one. There's one, Telsey Advisors, maintaining outperform on target. So a positive note here on the back of a bit of a disaster of an earnings report here, guys.
Yeah, we'll let Sean fix his layout. Randy wasn't here that long, but
What kind of websites is this guy checking out?
He made
I left for 10 minutes.
himself at home. You know Randy.
can see
Randy's
that.
going to get comfortable. Let's be real. That's just how he rolls.
He subscribed to Blue Chew? What was this guy doing over here?
Well, it's free. There was the free.
Oh, yeah, okay.
deal,
Well,
so
you better have used his email.
Might get
Damn,
with $5
Brody.
shipping you have to spend. Target, maybe SSR. That's a bit, I mean, it's down 10%, and that's the only thing that would be on my mind for Target in the 140 level. So it's 155.78 is where it closed. So 140 and change, it'll be short sell restricted. It's not a good looking daily chart. I don't know why that's missing data, but it doesn't really matter. That could be a bounce spot just because it could go short sell restricted at the open, a couple of ticks lower, and there could be like a 140 bounce play. And again, when you take that setup, or at least an SSR setup, it's acknowledging the stock is trend down. I'd like to see it false break the level and then come back above, put a tight stop, forget about a VWAP retrace. I'm throwing that out the window. That VWAP's all skewed by these dark pools. I think you'd look for something into 42, if that's even the case with Target. That's the only play I'm looking for on this stock. If it wasn't down 10%, or potentially down 10% at the open, I don't think I'd even have it on the radar.
I mean, this stock just keeps getting hit. It seems like all the time they can't get out of their way. I mean, they did have a good quarter here, obviously, but that gap has just been filled. It was filled basically yesterday, and then now today. Me and Adair and I talked. See, well,
you actually can say it either way.
It is
In
Adair.
that case, it's Adair and I. Because you would say I talked about it.
Right.
And so you're saying Adair and I talked
Adair's.
about it. It's like, oh, you guys hung out with me, then you guys hung out with Adair and me. Because it was
Right. So no mic on, so we will stop. But she's right. So she was just explaining to me that I can say Adair and I. But we talked about this yesterday here, about this gap fill. There's a theory that all gaps get filled. I don't know if that's necessarily true. I mean, I guess we can look that up. But right here, I mean, that was their big day back in March. Boom. and then now next report, right back down to the downside. So you filled that gap at 155, and then now it's all the way down. So you have to look for the next support level. Maybe we stop in and around this 130 wouldn't be bad. I mean, this looks like a bunch of garbage down here. So they fought through it, came back, 105 up to 180. That's an 80% move. 80% move. So now that I look at this, I don't feel that bad for Target anymore. That was an awesome opportunity. Look at this, double touch, triple touch the tops, 1, 2, 3, back in, boom. This is actually, just on the daily chart, I mean, Target looks pretty sweet to me for technically trading. So let's wait to see if we can get something in around 130. That makes sense for this trade. Retail's not dead. Walmart proved that. So Target just needs to get their act together, and I think they will. I like Target, but let it breathe a little bit. Into 130, I think, is a better buy.
All right, PDD, on the other hand, going the opposite direction here. A nice beat for them right across the board. We are off the highs, however. 160 was a bit of a problem for PDD. It was 7%, now 5.7%. The initial move was wild here in the pre-market this morning. It was down. This actually happened way down here. It's like a wick now, but this actually happened this morning, the initial move going downside.
That's the first thing Neil told me. He's like, this thing can't make up its mind. So I asked him, I'm like, did the call come on? Did something change fundamentally? What really changed here? Guys, this was a monster beat. Their revenue grew 131% year over year on the corner. They absolutely killed on earnings. The street was looking for 10 yuan and 7 EPS. They printed 20.72 yuan, so doubling that. The only real, kind of concern here was the cost of revenue grew substantially year over year, about 200%. So it's costing them a lot more money to keep the fulfillment, to keep the shipping. It's free shipping, do you know? Yeah. Even from China into North America, it's crazy on the Temu app. So great look for them here.
I see those ads all over the place now for Temu. Absolutely everywhere. You're not wrong. It was 7:30 this morning was the earnings call. So
that makes sense.
Yeah, lots and lots of comments, guys, for PDD.
Yeah, the reversal was swift, and we talk about why, if you're not paying attention to an earnings call, you have no idea what's going on. Especially in the pre-market, it's not the worst idea to sit out the stock, because anybody that went short on the initial move, you could have made a lot of money if you immediately got out. But that reversal was swift, and it was nasty if you were caught in it. I can only imagine. Obviously, I'm not trading that. It's at a 52-week high. It's not an all-time high. This was at $200 a few years ago. But 153 was the previous top. 150 was kind of like a consolidation level. I think that's the go zone. A lot of times we will see the big gaps up on Chinese ADRs at the U.S. Open tend to get sold for potential gap fills. I think that puts you right into that pocket right off the bat. If it can hold 150, great. That's where I'd be looking for a dip. Alibaba on sympathy is not what I would have hoped for. It's actually trending down pre-market. It got a slight move to the downside when PDD opened up or sort of had their earnings release, and then just did not participate at all in the bounce. So Baba's looking relatively weak today. All of that said, it's still in a decent upward trend for Alibaba. I don't have a defined level for a dip buy, but because I'm looking for a trend up on Alibaba, if it can maybe hold a 144, then establish, I should go to a 3-minute chart for this, and then establish back above VWAP at some point in the morning, then I can look for that VWAP bounce play on Alibaba. But this is the first day in a while that I don't have a level that I like to dip buy Baba, especially with its relative weakness today. It's just going to have to set up some kind of a long, holding the pre-market lows, bouncing off VWAP in the late morning, and then work for that. Otherwise, we're just going to wait for the 150 bid on PDD.
I never thought, I was watching Saturday Night Live, and I actually just thought of something.
SNL.
The thing about the Temu app is it's actually quite genius, because you buy something like a piece of clothing and then you wear it twice and then it's wrecked and then you got to buy it again. So it's like a really genius business model there. So I really like that. But I was just going to look at Ethereum right now, not doing much ETHE in the pre-market here, but we do have that noted that it's at 3,700. Nice move up into 35. We don't have crypto on the board, so let's just do it quickly right here. That high, $36, that's that 41 or so. We've had a huge move up. Now, we had Brian Shannon on the show yesterday. Any kind of a reversal in ETHE will create this thing to move more than Ethereum, the coin itself, just because of the premium that's baked into this. So it goes both ways. When you have a huge move up, you can also have a move back in. So we have to watch that. So I'm going to be looking at ETHE, and I'm just paying for shorts right now because we have to do that. It's not even a cent a share. It's super cheap right now. Well, it's about a little bit more than a cent a share, actually. But anyways, that's what we're going to be looking at here with ETHE dancing around. Bitcoin 69.37 for Ethereum. So let's keep our eye on some of that trading as well.
Man, woof, back downside here. I just saw another volume spike coming in here on this Petco, so just heads up. Shopify, we were talking about earlier, if you were with us, to start things off, back to $59 here in the pre-market. Yeah, Goldman Sachs with a really nice note on Shopify, the upgrade coming through this morning to buy from neutral going to $74.
Yeah, Goldman analyst Gabriela Borges liking this one, saying that the recent decline in the price is a really attractive entry point. 23% year-to-date drop in the stock, so she's upping her price target by 10% to $74, which is about a 30% upside from where it's currently trading. She likes it, and she says they have a good moat, and she's buying.
Yeah, staring this 59.60 area in the face here to start things off today, guys.
Very quickly, because I want to just mention BNED here. It's back above $1 just quickly on the chart. If it breaks this consolidation before the open, because before the open, I'm going to take out half and hold the other half for the 90 stop level, and then do a little scalping out into the high of the day, just to give you an idea there. I want to see this one open up above $1, and I'll feel a little bit better about its prospects. Shop, whether or not it actually takes out this consolidation level, that's what it's all about for me today. Post earnings, obviously it's been in a bit of a downtrend, but we said triple bottom if you include yesterday's low, which technically it didn't really bounce off of. And then if it takes out 59.5, I think it's a go zone for Shopify. So nice consolidation breakout at 59.5. Upgrade just happens to be the catalyst that can get this going. So you let something calm down after earnings, and here it is, up 3%. It's got a monster gap to be filled, and even the smaller one is $3 if you can get to that like 63-ish level.
Okay, so now we know that Kathy Wood watches the show. Obviously, we get Powell and Warren calling in all the time. And now we can confirm that whoever that was, no, stop it. See, they
Not
can't.
Warren.
This is the thing. They want all the smoke, but they can't get it. Because now we got to add one for Goldman Sachs, because I don't know whoever that lady was there, but she's obviously listening. Yesterday, Katina Capital was waiting for that upgrade, and then now today it came. So we already had Shopify in our mind yesterday. It's pretty much the number one idea. It's up here. But at this level, not really moving around in the pre-market, we love Shopify long. So it's 59.50. It is a big time zone. We're going long through 59.50. I really, really like that move. I mean, we might even just have to take 59 straight off the open. But either way, good move so far for Shopify, up that 3% and holding forward. I mean, the market's going up. I would have liked to see Shopify move a little bit more than it is right now. But still, love the name, and we'll probably buy more, during lunch, or probably be too late at that point, but whatever, we'll get it. I like it 360 anyways, so yeah, Peter Lynch, yeah, I mean, there's lots of people that we talk to on a regular basis, so that was another one. All right, let's go back over to the desk to Sharif.
We're talking about the measured move all week, guys, and today we're going to get a bit more nuance, spotting higher probability breakouts with the measured move. Catch that with Adair and I on How to Trade at 11.
Thank you very much there, Sharif. Still, I mean, it's pretty early for the.
Yeah, what happened? You guys just ran through things.
Well, we're bursting through, because we actually talked about a few of the things on the watch list before we even got to 9 o'clock. It's unavoidable with Tesla was moving around, and there is some news on Amazon, and I know some people are looking at that. The imbalances, there's nothing just yet. When it gets closer to the open, we can go back to that. But right now, BNED's like 700,000, and nothing on the imbalances is over 3. It's still early. Very quickly, I'd mentioned Apple's strength, but we didn't actually go over the chart. Yesterday was a good dip buy into previous support levels, so we'll look for the same thing. Now, obviously, 190.75 is where it held onto yesterday, so I like that level right in around that 91. If we don't get that, and we're simply right back into 191.5, let's make it easier for you guys to see there. Like 191.5 was this level right off of the open where it dipped after breaking out. So I like a couple of dip buys over there on Apple. And then Amazon refreshing Alexa. Obviously, look, they're going to be doing, that's not anything that is unexpected. if you're gonna do a revamp of Alexa to use AI, then that's how everyone expected it. But what's more important about Amazon is the bounce off the 50 period, and I think it can make a nice little rally back into those highs, holding that line. It made a nice wipeout bottom above 183. I'm gonna like the long. The news came before or after I put my note out, but I do like this 183 hold on Amazon for the open. So I'm going to get a bid out in front of that for 9:30.
Yeah, so we actually had Amazon all over our sticky note today as well. So I was just going to look at that because I know you guys didn't talk too much about it. It's on here right now. We can actually review it quickly just to see what else is here. So we'll go the plays that I like so far for today, just real quick. I mean, we have on the sticky note here, we've got NVIDIA long 950 or a pre-market high break. So I was just looking at that with the imbalances out now. It looks like we'll have to break through 960, unfortunately. It just keeps on going up. I like the Tesla short, but that's a dangerous play. We love the Amazon long down here, so we'll see if we can grab that. Shopify 59.50, that's already in. So as soon as that breaks, your boy is going long Shopify. That's not even a question. GameStop long 20, we missed that yesterday. But again, what are you supposed to do? We tried it, and then Apple, we didn't try it, is the problem. We had it written down there, but then we were gone during lunchtime, and that broke. 193 short there on Apple. So that's what's here. You go find it, and then by the way, happy NVIDIA Wednesday, as I think it's going to be a little bit of a roller coaster. Not in the market. I don't think the market's going to be too crazy. Yeah, so I don't mind a little bit of a dip by opportunity here in Amazon. So with just a couple minutes to go, let's check out on those imbalances as they just came through for NASDAQ. So a whole bunch of nothing. FFIE's on here for 300,000, but other than that, I'm not really seeing any big-time names that is going to affect anything here off the open. So we'll say a pass on the imbalances. Look to Amazon. I wrote down 182. That's yesterday, but you know, whether or not that comes in, I think we could start the bidding in and around 182.50. I don't know where my... Oh, I think what happened was he completely changed all of everything on here. So now I'll have to figure out.
For sure.
Yeah, this is the 1 minute chart. So it's I got to fix the timing on this. But anyways, Amazon, yesterday's close, 182.50-ish. I'll just figure that out in a minute. And
okay, bit of a move there. When I say a bit of a move, it's a couple, $1.50 there on AMD. So NVIDIA just pulled back $1 or so, and AMD showing all kinds of strength going into the open. 169 is still going to be that resistance zone for AMD. It was just asked if we were looking at ARM again today. Yeah, ARM just does not do pre-market volume, and when there's not a catalyst, it doesn't really grab your attention in the pre-market unless it's like earnings or something. But the 50 period has been hugged. It could break this out today. Super strong mover. If it gets above 170, it's like 117.5, 118. I think this one has a chance to really run. Just remember what happened at $122 when the stock failed at that level. It was just absolutely nasty for a couple of days in a row. And I think that could go into trouble for sure. As mentioned on BNED, scalped some out, and then I said I was going to get a bunch out in front of the 98 level because it's a pre-market, and then hold the rest for the 90 level we had mentioned earlier. So if 90 holds the open, then I'll look to jump back in to add AMC APE stock conversion accord upheld by Delaware High Court. Yeah.
Ha-ha.
I mean, AMC actually, there was a slight move to the downside off of that, but
Kaboom.
Really, down about 5 cents.
Down
there.
on that?
4 or 5 cents on that. Not really much movement there. I'd rather be GameStop's got a little better movement on it, and then of course, there's those other lower float names like BuzzFeed's moving around today. I think that's a little bit better to be trading. So if this does maybe make another attempt at the $5 break, I'd be on it, but not a lot of reaction out of AMC based on that headline. We'll keep an eye on it. Just feels as if in the last couple of days, GameStop has made these late day rallies. Those were really good, so look back to those levels. It broke out from 2050 and then dipped off 2050 at the close. You guys saw that in the late day show. So we'll look for that level to try and hold on again today. Yeah, not much going on with that AMC off the news, but it is worth a watch. If it starts squeezing again, that 5 break can always be good. NVIDIA's...
Yeah, it's coming in, so that's...
NVIDIA's really starting to come in here.
Really?
Well, considering AMD was going higher, NVIDIA down 5 when AMD just went up a couple bucks. A little bit interesting. If it gets to that 950, I think it's the first bounce zone I would look for. If it breaks 945, I think you go gap filling.
Yeah, so again, we have it on the sticky note here, 950. So we are already bidding there. So we're bidding 950 right now on Amazon or pre-market high, and I'm going long 959. So I already have these orders in. So either this comes into 950, it fills me, or I go long at 959. So one or the other is going to happen here. Immediately on NVIDIA, I expect to get this one first. With only 30 seconds to go right now, I mean, unless something showed up on the imbalance for NVIDIA, which it didn't. I just saw Uber on there. Oh, there's Shopify with a small buy as well. All right, we got to go back over to NVIDIA. What am I even doing? All right, with only 15 seconds to go, I will be getting into NVIDIA pretty much immediately, I would assume, now. So here we go, Adara.
A countdown is on. It is your hump day Wednesday, but more importantly, it's NVIDIA earnings day. Let's ring that bell in 2 and 1. Let's go.
All righty then. 946 maybe a bottom for NVIDIA if we do wind up getting in trouble on this play, which we're not in yet. So we're chilling out for now on this play. We may take a small break of Shopify if it does break 59 early. NVIDIA not doing much. So let's go over to another name that we're looking at. So we have the Shopify break through 59.50. That's a while away. We may have to play dip buys on Shopify because it's not really doing anything. NVIDIA's trying to go now, so here we go. We will get punched into NVIDIA as soon as it takes 59, which should be momentarily. So watch out for an NVIDIA pump up. Just hit 57 again, pulling back dollars here on NVIDIA. Shopify maybe 58.50 for a buy. We'll put it a little bit lower.
Yeah, Tesla, a little move down, but not a heck of a lot yet for Tesla. Still holding 182s pretty nicely. AMD was the story going into the open, not on an imbalance,
Tesla
just sort of out of nowhere, running higher. Didn't get to 69, but it did make a tag at that 168 level. BNED still holding the 90. Pinduoduo was the other one. Whoa, what is going on with my drop down? I typed PDD and a bunch of other stocks just came up there. Pinduoduo just tanked $8, $9.
Hello.
What the heck is going on, PDD? So big
It's what I
gap
said.
fill
Everyone's
on
taking
PDD.
back. Everyone's
Where's
taking their clothes
Alibaba? So Baba's making a dip. I said there might not be a big dip in Alibaba
Here we
to
go.
buy into, but that certainly can be the case. So big move in PDD. Watch out, everybody.
Yeah, 25 cents
Wow.
right now in Shopify. Nice move upside right here. So we got first position of the day for either right now. Nice move to the upside here
heck was that?
for Shopify. We'll see if it fades back. We take out 20% there at 20s or 25s or whatever it was, 20s. All right, so there it is. So early position, Shopify, quick out, still could fade. We're waiting. Tesla, by the way, for anybody looking at TSLA, I don't know. I thought this name would be a little bit more of a mover than what we've had, but we just gapped right there, actually. We were just looking at it at 182. It just pumped to 183.50. Maybe Tesla on this move back up in the market, starting to go. I'm going to be into NVIDIA, just a matter of time, I would imagine. Now, 957 with the market starting to go upside. What's up, Adara?
SunPower continuing to push to the upside here. SPWR getting this nice volume wick here right off the open in this 3-minute chart, announcing that it's adding the Tesla Powerwall 3 to its residential solar and storage product portfolio. So nice Tesla-related story here for SPWR with strong volume off the open, guys.
All right, so Tesla
950 doesn't happen, but
Yep, Tesla fills right there. We are at 9. We've got a nice one on right here. We talked about what we're going to do. We take a little piece off there at 960 flat, just because that's where we offered. Now let's see what happens here. We are in NVIDIA, so it does break that 959. We're long at 959 quarters right there. We did take a fill at 60. We were waiting right there at 60. So now let's see what fades out back into the downside. 954 and change. I mean, we don't want to hold it that low, but hey, if it gets down into there, that is the 200 period moving average. So nice little retracement back in now, breaking lower. So temporary false break there at the high, but it's all good. We're still, well, it's not all good, but we're going to hold it. And then Shopify still hanging around 59. So it's NVIDIA that's on my mind right now.
Yeah, NVIDIA made that break, but I just got wicked out. I mean, obviously, I would have been wicked out regardless on that AMD short, but that was intense. And big move back on NVIDIA there. But I was short in AMD, and it just went fleshy on me. But here comes that 950 on NVIDIA as well. So I'm going to be long out in front of that as well. We did grab it. What an unbelievable. That's like, it's going to look nasty if this ends up being the worst possible out in AMD. I got the 169 short. And I lost on it. It looks like it's coming back in there. I am long NVIDIA. Just one more thing. This Pinduoduo move
Oh, I had to get some.
You know what? Forget it. We missed the chance on Pinduoduo. Let's get out of there. Pinduoduo, that drop, it just pulled back $5. I was going to say I'm going to look for a buy zone on PDD, but that looks like it's already back, a $5 move. I'm not chasing it on PDD. That was a weird candle off the open. Here comes that 950 level. I should still be short on advanced micro devices, but we're now into AMD. NVIDIA long. I just want to see if I can get back into this off the 170 high. I'm going to throw a stop. Maybe 169.50 if we come back up. I do.
Oh, no.
But here comes the 50 level on NVIDIA. It's about to get taken out. Adara?
We have a small cap runner to watch out for here, SYTA, Seattle Mobile. They have news. They did announce the expansion of its relationship with its luxury resort property, Bahamar Resorts in Bahamas. So nice little catalyst for it. It's up about 85%. Some things to keep in mind, though, as well. We have a $1.74 million market cap, so very small market cap, float of about 723,000 shares, and 11.5% of those shares are sold short. So high short float and small float on watch here for SYTA, guys.
Siata. All right, nice move back up now for NVIDIA. We don't have the best prices here by far.
Well, my
We're not Walmart or anything like that. Watch out for a 948 break, basically into disaster striking right now for NVIDIA. I mean, this has been a bad trade as it just keeps going downside. So we punched the top there. We get a little bit out at 960, and then the rest is history. Bad trade right now for NVIDIA.
Yeah, I mean, I got myself a bad price, but I'm 49's my out. The 48, I'm not holding it into 48. I think after that, the 45 level can come into play. Stick a fork in that AMD. That's frustrating, but it is still tracking. Like, it is still tracking underneath. Like, maybe we'll get something back into a short. But, you know, I'm going to slap the L on the dip buy on NVIDIA, but it should have been tempered by the short that we still liked in AMD, and we didn't actually grab that. If 950 reestablishes, I don't mind getting back into that trade, but I stopped out at the 49 on NVIDIA. Going to have to find my way back into the short somehow on AMD because that level held almost perfectly.
All right. Well, yeah, we're still in it, but I mean, we're not necessarily in it to win it. It doesn't look like right now. All right. So we'll wait to see if we do get a little bit of a move back. I just tried to get some out there at 51 as we saw it reject. We're still in the game. I mean, it's not. It's a bad trade for. I mean, here it goes. Now it's going to be worse if it goes down. We're still in the game. It's not the end of the world here, but yeah, punching that top, we got a little excited there about NVIDIA. Needless to say, with earnings, thought it was going to go, and here it comes. Going to crank right through 48 right now, and there it is. That's that bottom. So, okay, a little bit of a hit, obviously a big hit there, but that's okay. We're going to let it try to settle down. I still like the long, but there's the break. We tried to fight it. Remember, I was like, oh, $20? Well, it just moved $12 on us to the downside. So, hey, we take the shot there. Tough one on NVIDIA for sure. Shopify, we're still in that. I still want to stay. I'm still in NVIDIA. I want to stay with it a little bit. But again, to be too stubborn, I mean, this name, like I was saying, could just keep on going to the downside. So let's wait to see. We'll buy a little bit here against 945, and then that break is it. We will get out of that. So let's set up the stop orders. We just bought a little bit more now, but it's going to the downside here.
Yeah, it's stopped me out. Like I said, I'm slapping the fail, but I should still be in that AMD short. But what you have to do in a moment like that is, I was just double checking ARM to see if that was available for short, but it's already pulled back in. You just have to look for the next trade, right? Like, you can't get that back. You can't go back in time unless you've got the flux capacitor, then you're all good.
Yeah, which thank God we do.
So maybe VWAP, maybe we'll get something off 168. Shop still hasn't broken out, so you got to watch out for that. BuzzFeed, I want to get to BuzzFeed in a second because that actually blew out the top. So there could be a nice little move off of VWAP for BuzzFeed. I was in. Once that level broke on BNED, the 90, we were out, and I haven't looked back. It's probably down to like $80, but BuzzFeed is the one that looks like it wants to go.
Oh my
God. BuzzFeed over 4. I'd go for dip buys on this. We just wanted it to open up. It was way too choppy off of the open. 380 is the support level on BuzzFeed off the opening range. So if it dips back into 4, it's a small capper. We said there's 2 or 3 of them that we like. We'll see what happens there. Pinduoduo was the other big, ridiculous move. By the time I was like, oh, this is too crazy, let's try to find a bottom on it, it was already back up $5. I think that kind of a liquidity grab has me wanting to go long. But the 150 level is what I needed to hold originally, so I want to see it hold off that 150. Then we can jump back over to it. GameStop is trying to make a bit of a bounce as well. Still nothing on Shopify. and I keep looking for AMD to make some kind of a move that we can play. But I'll be looking at that chart for quite some time. Right. Thank you, AMD. Thank you, NVIDIA. Yeah. You know, at the end of the day, I knew those would be the two that I'm going to be trading. Shopify still hasn't broken out that top, but we'll just have to be patient waiting for the next setup. Amazon did break out. We didn't catch that one off the 183. It didn't get anywhere close. VWAP sits just above 184. I'm buying dips on Amazon. Strong name relative to the market, which is flat. Amazon up 1%.
All right, so we're just going to try to breathe and see if NVIDIA wants to go back up. Like, I don't know. Well, we went through all that. We just got a little bit of an exhaustion candle, maybe to the downside, 942. I was bidding 940 for a little bit more, but once we saw sort of that wick to the downside there, we did buy some more back there in NVIDIA, but it was just a 944 buyback. So we're only $2 in the money now, back up to the upside rate now. I'm really thinking, like, if we're lucky enough to get like a 948 or something like that back to the upside here, okay, what's getting close? Maybe we should take it. We're making a little bit back here. So again, to be wrong that way is bad for sure. It's not a great sign, but you know, we don't want it. There it comes, coming right back in there. Maybe the buyers just don't exist in this name and everybody's taking profit before that report. We were talking about this yesterday, that there was a good chance that many traders, many traders. We just smoked through 940 there almost. A lot of traders are looking at what happened to Amazon with Amazon yesterday and possibly thinking, okay, you know, is this the story to look moving forward on possible Blackwell and issues with, you know, maybe some projects holding back. I don't know, but NVIDIA today started the day up. And it was right there that we went long. And that's really where it started, buying some 950s and getting out of that. That was okay. But it was really just that take right there and then getting some out. And anyways, back and forth. I don't have to talk about it. You can clearly see what's happening right there. Adara.
Tesla.
Quite the morning for PDD so far here. So initially going down a little bit in earnings. So their earnings were really strong. They did beat for Q1 adjusted earnings per share and also for their sales, but initially market reacts a little negatively. Then they spring up. Then we fall right heading into the open. Now PDD making a nice recovery, up about 5.5% again. So PDD absolutely on the move here, guys.
If you had Chinese ADR dropping $7 off of the open, rebounding and going back higher, and then all of the chips getting absolutely destroyed off the open, then kudos to you. I did not have that look. That said, Amazon just bounced off VWAP, so that's the next trade. Here, pre-market breakout was pretty much this level. If it holds on to 184, great. It is relatively strong. I just wanted to get back over to, like, ARM. 2 seconds ago, ARM was breaking out the top. Okay, a few minutes ago. I'm being overly dramatic. But it just broke out the lows. And this is, again, it just wicked and failed the 50 period. So when it's failing the 50 period, I'm looking short. Back into previous close would be $115, essentially like 114.77. So I'm going to look for the fade play on ARM. This is obviously one that we've traded before, but I want to get back on over to it. It is what it is. Like, the chips have made a pretty big reversal, and it's a nasty one here. Amazon does not hold 184. Okay, I just got into ARM. Amazon doesn't hold 184 initially, but I'm going to give it a chance to consolidate in there. I'm risking about like 25, 30 cents initially, but I want to see a higher low get held. This is still, in my mind, a strong stock. If it stabilizes, we'll take a couple more swings at it. Then BuzzFeed just pulled back into 4. Oddly enough, I thought I bid 401, but apparently I bid exactly 4. Don't usually do that. Usually we'll bid 401 or 2, just out of pure habit. But it holds on to VWAP, heading back into the highs. 420 is always a thing on these stocks, so scalping some out into the 420 level because that's what we do.
All right. Yeah, we need NVIDIA to get going here a little bit. If this is going to work for it, right there. Okay, here we go. Nice little pop, 949.60. We're back to flat on this again as we continue to sort of bounce around a little bit. 946.71. I'm at 947.80s. Right here, which is where that top is. Let's see if we can get going just a little bit more. Take it back up to the upside here. Someone saying PayPal's going down. We can have a quick look at that. I just put a bid. I'll look at PayPal quickly. I just put a bid on Amazon at 183.50 for some more, or not for some more, but to get some right there. Yeah, nice move down for PayPal right there, down 2.3%.
Oh,
not sure if we might have
goodness.
missed a story on that. We could check in on Block quickly. Yeah, Block's down too, right? Block was $72. Yeah, so there goes Block square to the downside as well. Down 4.3%. Is crypto okay? Yeah, crypto 69.536. So we didn't really look too much at crypto. Okay, here we go. Nice little move back for NVIDIA. So I mean, now we're $3 in the money, but the damage has already been done. So we need this thing to really retrace its, you know what, back upside. The worst part about it is that we're about 50 cents away from getting more at 940. But we're holding out, man. VWAP's up here at 951, 950. We're getting close to that. We'll put an out all the way up if we can get something in and around 9. What is that price exactly? 952. We'll see if we can get something around there. What's up, A?
Not seeing any news with regards to PayPal, but Bloom Energy, BE on the move here, making this nice pop up above 10% to the upside on the day with strong volume. No news. They do have a short float of about 17.8%. So BE definitely on watch, guys.
A couple of things. Shopify just broke out. BNet is in fact halted. For anyone watching that stock, it is halted at $1.19. The tap is $1.19 on BNet, so it's indicating a flat open, which it's a New York stock. Sometimes it'll update a little bit closer to the 5 minutes. Volatility halt on BNet. BuzzFeed got to 420 and then pulled back in. I'm going to reload this one, but maybe tighter to that 380 level where we're stopping out. So we'll look for a dip buy. Shopify did make the break, 59.50. If you look at it on the higher time frame, that's where we got this breakout from. I'm going to give it back into 59. I think the gap, if it takes out 60, there's room to 63 on the stock. The market did pull back, but is leveling off a little bit here, so you're catching a bit of a bid overall in the market. With any luck, that'll take. I mean, I'm hoping NVIDIA goes up higher as well, even though I'm out of it. That said, with that little bounce, I want to respect that ARM leveling off at 114. I'm short 114.33 on ARM. It's not VWAP. It's kind of more off the pre-market lows in here. If it can hold on to these bottoms, I got to respect that. So if it breaks 114 down, I'm going to get some out the first 50 cents of that move. So we're short ARM. I'm not in that BNED, but if it does dip BNED at the open, on the reopen, I want to see if it holds $1. I want to play off that dollar level as many times as I can.
Look, I told you, when we write down a stock that we like and that we put it on the sticky note, we're actually taking shares. So we have a position here in Shopify. And honestly, the way NVIDIA's been working today, I don't know, man. Let's just see if this goes. We have it right now. I have an offer at 58 because why? Well, we first started getting long at 59. All right, we got a bunch of outs right there. If it can, we just got a 58. If we could 63s, okay, here we freaking go. This is what we're talking about. Like, honestly, obviously, when you have confidence in a trade and this happens, you can lose a lot of money. But if you're not here to make money, then I've already told you, exit door left immediately. So the idea would be is that if Shopify can go, we also have risk on Shopify. You know, that this is what trading's about. So let's see if we can get a move up on Shopify. Although we just stopped at 65, I will put an offer here in the 60s again to see if we can get some. We're just long here at 50, as you guys can see. Let's see if we can get Shopify going back up to the upside on a Katina Capital upgrade, along with someone like Goldman Sachs jumping on the back of that. So we'll wait. Here it goes. Upgrade on Shopify. We have the position now, and it's on our radar, obviously. And then we just stopped at 950. I'm thinking we just got to put in 950. We were at there it goes. Let's go Shopify. We were at 951.85. I mean, we've done okay getting some money back here, but this name could definitely drop in an instant, obviously, NVIDIA. So let's put something up there and just get out if we can get back up here. We'll put like a 950 clean. Hopefully we get that. And Neil, here we damn go. This is, hit that Seanfidence sign again if you have that, because here we go. Now we're going back up to the upside on Shopify. So good job so far, anybody that has that. I know you do as well, Neil. So let's go. Nice move to the upside there on Shopify. That was a good one.
Yeah, it's still going to be good. And if it gets to 60, it could get even better. As we said, there's a $3 gap.
Please.
If you look at that initial earnings move that it had, I just zoomed in so you can see that, but this is what I mean. The $3 gap goes right into here to that $63 level. BNED's going to be open in about 1 minute. I'll get to that one when it has a chance. I thought we'd get into an AMD short. But AMD at VWAP looking for that curl. I'm keeping my eyes on NVIDIA, still underneath that 950. So I want to put the short on here, failing underneath VWAP. Yes, we missed it. It is what it is. I got top wick, but there's almost no chance if I'm shorting 69 that I'm holding it to 170. That would be insane. My next offer on Shopify is in front of 60, and if 60 breaks, we'll play it every 50 cents to $1. Interesting. Thank you, Bao. Battery stocks are flying. We'll have a look at some of those a little bit later. On my mind is VWAP here on AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, up 1.5%. Can it fail VWAP? I want to see it start to sell off, and then we can jump into a short. BNED just opened up, but it's ways away from $1. I'm looking for dip buys, not breakouts on that stock.
Oh, man. We are really riding high off this Shopify. I mean, we really needed that, thankfully, because that NVIDIA was not good, but we will just sit back and relax because there it is, man. This is, for me, guys, honestly, you know, we talk about trading with share size. It hurts you when this happens, but at least when this happens, you know, you got it. So this has been a good morning for some of these trades, needless to say, and not for others. We're 1 for 1, but the NVIDIA one's going to hurt because of that top tick there. Like when I only got out of like 20% up there at 60, and that was just because it was 60. Like I thought it was going. I was like, man, am I doing the right thing? But okay, here comes 949. All right, you know what? Forget about it. Let's just get some out right here at 20s. So we'll face slap a little bit for NVIDIA, now $5 in the money. It's Shopify, and it is the confident play of the day right there for Shopify. So let's get some claps going. No brankles. You can make some noise. Don't worry. So here it goes. Shopify, nice move back up to the upside, $60.10. Now starting to get going right now. So there it is, 60.09, 60.10, starting to go, man. That's it. Wow, good trade there. Thank you to everybody in the chat for that Shopify, and I hope that my confidence gave some to you guys as well with Shopify. So good trade there, as we'll get some out there above 60. Ooh, making my day a lot better there.
Yeah, it was definitely sorely needed, and Shopify delivering the goods, no questions asked. That pun was 100% intended. I'll use that one at least 2 more times today and get some leverage out of Shopify's big move to the upside. It's the strongest thing I'm seeing, but the market's about to take out the high of the day, which brings me right back over to Amazon, which is also delivering the goods, and with it, ideally at VWAP. I got it on the way down, not the ideal way to get into position when it's flushing at the open, but now you're starting to hold a higher low. If this breakout continues on the futures, then I think Amazon can be one to go. I still want to give it to this local bottom. That's 183.90. So I'm going to wet the proverbial beak at VWAP, and then we're going to look for shares a little tighter to the 184. It's established a level here, and if it can hold up, I do still want to be long this stock in any market strength. ARM just double checking. I mean, ARM is still chilling out underneath pre-market lows. That was another. Look, you saw the dump that happened in the chip names. It wasn't just NVIDIA. Like ARM dropped $4 off the open as well. So consolidation off the bottom. It's about the 50 period on the daily for me. That's why we're short ARM. Oh yeah, BNED halted. It's halted to the downside. So 110 it's halted at. I just want to see if it holds $1 on that reopen. That actual first up halt was at 98 cents, and we missed that one, but that was right at the open. So 98 cents I think would be the support level if I get a long off the dollar. It just has to reopen in a couple of minutes. I thought we'd be trading some Apple this morning. But we're not getting a dip at 191 into Apple. We're not getting much movement out of Apple. Seems like a little bit of a nothing burger. And then I'll throw under the bus Tesla as well. I thought we'd dip by 180s. Tesla just dipped to 181. It's back to VWAP. So might have to find another place to get the long on Tesla. If it's not going to be the 180 like we had prepared for, we can look trend up, maybe a VWAP hold. This 181 looks pretty good as well. Adara?
Any news on this, but Moderna here up over 5%. The one thing I am seeing is they announced they're going to be presenting some neoantigen treatment data at some conferences coming into the next week. So that could be a mover. They also do have a short float of about 5.5%, so not insignificant. But either way, mRNA, one to watch, guys.
All right, come on, let's go. So we're getting some more out of Shopify here at $60 again. All right, so here comes NVIDIA. It just stopped basically again at where we got out at 949. So yeah, we are staring a little bit of a good position in the face. But the thing is like, I'm still thinking we can get back north side. But if the futures are doing this, and NVIDIA tried to go during this, Yeah, slippery slope, needless to say here, as we could slip way back in. And I mean, this is why your boy trades and talks like the way he does. Because, I mean, Shopify, we just got a piece out there at 60s, you know, multiple, not one piece, multiple pieces out there. You know, when you're trading with bigger share sizes, you want to make sure that you're definitely capturing profit when levels are hit. You know, so like I was just taking them all the way out, 70, that's 75s, a couple fills, that's 85s, this is 93s, that's the break above, that's a 60, there's more 60s, and then a 75. So this is like what trading's all about, making sure that you're able to take profit when profit lies, understand your share size, and trade accordingly. You know, so that's it. And then again, once you have the plan, then you can start upping your shares and so on and so forth, right? There's a lot of traders around here that obviously will trade with lower share size because not as confident or whatever about the plays, right? And so that's the step you need to make to become, you know, a graduated trader right here, like we have behind us. You know, you want to be able to have confidence in your plays and put them on. And when they don't work, they don't work. But then if you don't ever put on size, you're never going to make any money. So I've already said this story back and forth again. If you're not here to make money, then you should probably not be here. And I think that's true of anybody that is a day trader. And by the way, the Freedom and Wealth podcast will be kicking off very, very soon. So get ready for that. That should be a heck of a lot of fun with Brendo and I. But that is true, Rainmaker. In many situations, and according to this, as well as this, size does matter.
I was waiting for that one to come in there. It's been a couple of times. I'm like, I'm not going to say it. I'll let somebody else get to it to be sure. Just very quickly, BNED just opened back up. Held exactly at that halt price of 98 cents. I got threes on the way back up, which is, I had two orders in there. I'm still on the bid at 101. I never got filled at 101 on the way back up, but I did get filled at 3. So a little bit of a miss trying to catch it on the way back through that 98 level to 101. Let's see if it halts up. I'm going to take about half out and then try to hold on for the dream on Barnes & Noble. I keep saying BNED, but for anyone that doesn't know, it's Barnes & Noble. 120 was the original halt up price, so it needs to take that out. I'm going to get off the bid now. We're not going to get those shares, and if we get them, we probably don't want them. So now I'm going to put on the hold. At the end of the day, like anything can happen with this stock. It's going from halt to halt at this point, but there's not a heck of a lot going on past 130 on the daily. So I want to be in the long if it gets back up to that 130, not punching the top. I do not want to punch any tops on Barnes & Noble today, just only looking for dip buys. ARM, I did not get filled on the bid, which is a bit strange, because I'm like right here. I guess I got missed by a couple of cents there on ARM, trying to get 113.8 out. But it is starting to calm down a little bit on ARM. With the market leveling off and trying to go higher, I need to get something out here on ARM. I want to be reloading this if it gets to the 115 level, and I haven't yet taken anything out on ARM. Still a weak stock, and if NVIDIA's underneath 950, I'll still like the fade play, but I'm a ways away from VWAP there. BNED, if it does continue to go higher, it's a New York stock. It kind of trips me up every single time. If it breaks out the high, I got to move my trail because I don't want to get caught in a down halt. So every 10% or so, I'm just going to move my trail up on Barnes and Noble.
All right. So we just got some more out of Shopify, like I said here, and waiting for NVIDIA. The spot I put for NVIDIA is a breakthrough VWAP up into 952. I mean, if we can get something out at 952 there, I think that would be fantastic on the way back up. But, I mean, for right now, the fact that it's not moving while the market's trying to go higher is not a sign for success. Like, we could even punch some out here if it breaks back below. Right here, 946. I'm not going to do that, but I don't think that's there it goes. I don't think that's a horrible plan as it's starting to come back in. I'm not looking at AMD or anything. I'm just looking at this name. So hopefully it can hold. This is obviously a beast of its own right now, and we just got to fail underneath VWAP. So, I mean, it's trading exactly the way we thought it would now. I mean, we said that would be a little more calm today. We just liked the long early, and it was wrong. So we, stamp our trade on it and our reputation, and that's what it is, right? And so, you guys can just judge us by, we're going to be 1-1. You know, you could judge us by that, and I told you we'll be red because we did have that huge break there on NVIDIA. So we'll wait for it. Coming back in, will be one trade winner, one trade loser. Hopefully, if you took them, you're in the same situation. But again, the Shopify one, you had to. We were so confident in Shopify, we actually bought the 59 break early. So we actually had basically a quarter of our position there. Then we added 3 times that position on the break. That's why I said a quarter. So we had 3 times that position right there. So when that got going, yeah, it did matter and it made a difference. So that was a good one, thankfully for that. Let's just check in on GME right now, 21.20s. So we're still here. We were waiting for 20 to break, waiting to get long near 20. So that could be something there if we want that. And then Advanced Micro Computers, AMC, that's what it is, right? Making the move down to 450 right now.
Oh, fake.
Okay, fake halt on BNED?
Yeah, so, well, I'm calling it a fake halt, but you guys know what I mean. BNED got to the halt band, looked like it was about to, it looks like it was a halt band, looked like it was about to halt. I took a little bit out there. As it tagged it, it did not end up halting. You're still going higher. At this point, you know, I guess I'm not going to take anything else. Unless it halts, and I'll look at the reopen. Otherwise, that halt 110 level, if it's underneath that price, then we'll get out. Barnes & Noble's not the only small cap runner that's going. Shout out to anybody that has this one, ka-ching. And I'm really hoping, there was a couple of boys in the back, we were talking about this on the subway afternoon, on Novavax. The squeeze play with a fundamental reason why it is up. And Novavax up another 12%. They got the Sanofi deal. Okay, BNED's going into another potential fake halt. This time it actually, you know, it's going to halt this time, so I'm not going to get anything. I spoke too soon. But Novavax, they got the deal with Sanofi. It's broken out the top yet again. I feel like this is too late to chase it, so there will be no chase for me. I'm going to move my trail on BNED up to $1.20. It looks like it could be resisting halts every single time. Now powering up, it just got to 135. But congratulations anyone long this NVAX. I think it's a good one. They staved off going bankrupt essentially with that deal. Let's go to happening now with Adara.
We had a couple of minor numbers coming through at 10 a.m. here. Existing home sales coming in slightly lower than expected, 4.14 million versus consensus and forecast of 4.21 million. Existing home sales month over month also lower than expected here, so negative 1.9%, higher than the previous of negative 3.7%, but below the forecast of positive 0.5%. And kind of hard to see with these wicks, but we're still running into a little bit of reduction around that 531 and change area. So it was a bit of a high yesterday, continuing to curl down at this level. S&P 500 slightly down, but basically flat here on the day. Lots of things to look at today. Of course, we have tons of earnings from a lot of different companies. We also have NVIDIA reporting after the close tonight, so definitely something to watch out for as well. And at 2 p.m., we'll get the FOMC minutes. In terms of some names to watch out for, Tesla had a great day yesterday, now down about 2.5%. Bloomberg reporting that they had a 15-month low in their Europe sales for April. And we have PDD as well here. Kind of a lot of chop and churn right now, but currently trading still up on the day, but falling a little bit, up about 3.5%. Earnings beat across the board for PDD.
You know, like the earnings, despite that initial drop on PDD, like there was a pretty sizable beat on the top and the bottom lines for PDD. Just a ridiculous price action is the only way to put it. Okay, so still no halts on BNED, but it just did it like 2 or 3 more times. It looks like it got to the band and pulled back in. I'm just going to give it to I said 120, but this halt was actually 119, so it's underneath that. Like if it prints 117, I'm getting out. I'm out of half of Shopify, but it looks like, and that's a New York stock as well. There we go. I'm out of half of Shopify. It just bounced off that reload price. I thought maybe VWAP in there. 59.25, but if it continues to hold 59.50, it might be a reload off of that price. If it gets to that 60 level, we'll take one leg out and then jump back over to it. One last one, well, maybe not one last one for you, but I do want to go back over to ARM. We got a fill when it did another wick lower high. But I'm going to scalp this 113.80, stay on the bid, look for the low of the day. Mostly why I'm short ARM. I know it's a strong stock, relatively speaking. Yesterday it was the strongest chip name, but it just rejected the 50 period on the daily. And then plus with that move down in the chips, I want to short this back into the pre-market lows on ARM. So that's the reason we're shorting this, despite the fact that some of the chips look strong. Apple, still nothing doing for dip buys on Apple. At this point, altering strategy is probably the only way to go. I've canceled my 191. I don't think that's going to come into play here. Maybe we get something along the lines of VWAP. Oh, there goes that BNED.
I'm trying to short Apple. What
Just got out there on BNED last at, I think I got filled at 118 there on BNED. It's going to go into a downward halt, but that's why you move stops up. It's a dollar stock, so every time it moved another 10, 15 cents, I kept moving my stop up higher so that I wouldn't get trapped in a down halt. So that last break, 101, 130 was the best we got. We just got the last out at 117. Might be able to make the same play one more time. Thank you, Randy.
Look, it's going to be Lulu smoked again.
It's a $300.
Jesus.
That next level, it was like 290 or
Is this
something.
an averaging in level for you? You've talked about that.
No. I'm not. It's not price for me. It is.
Time.
It's like time. It's like one time, maybe end of year or sometime in the last quarter after the earnings.
I'm
and then
looking at
next
Nike
year.
too.
Like I'm thinking like long term. It's still really pricey on a PE basis. So like it's got to reprice itself, and I don't know where the bottom's going to be. So I'm buying every couple of quarters, I think, as long as I don't see something crazy happen. I mean, obviously, if they have some ridiculously bad.
I mean, something crazy's already happened. Here's your, because what are we down, 40%? Here we go, $300 right now. I don't know why Randy, he's interested in this company. Like I said, anybody that shorts this is dead to me. But 520, the high right there, looked like a decent spot right there, right? That's that sort of bottom on earnings. And then, wow, down another 7. What was the story here with this one? Yucky, man. Okay, let's go. Right now, we back in the building, baby. Come on, NVIDIA. We're right here. Where are we? We're at 951. Just a little bit of a bumper. And there it is. Yes, sir. Let's fire off the hot dog cannon. It's an NVIDIA kind of day. I still hate the stock, but we like the stock a little bit better with a $7 winner. Thank you for trusting in that. I saw a lot of people in the chat say they're not selling. They're buying those dips as well. So we did sell, but hey, a bad day becomes a bad day, but a lot better with this move up right now on NVIDIA. So hallelujah. That's all the way back into 951, 952. Now, stink face. Let's see where we can go on NVIDIA. That was a good one right there. Yeah, I'll take some NVIDIA with some extra mustard. What's up right now, Adara?
Here's the Lululemon story. This came out this morning, but there wasn't really a lot of volume on the move. Right now that we did, of course, get that volume after opening, we're down about 7%. The company announced that it did have the resignation of its chief product officer, Sun Cho, and the company isn't looking to replace the role. So chief product officer resigned, no replacement in the works for LU, guys.
So just real quickly here, obviously, we've already talked about it. You've already said it, obviously. NVIDIA is going to be my worst stock.
Easily.
It is, well, easily, yeah. It's not even.
Well, for me, it's
well, yeah, for you too. I mean, the thing is that this is what it is. So I'm not celebrating that we're green. There's no way we're green. But we just made back a shit ton. So that's the difference, right? So it's like you punch out, you get out, you take the L's. You know, we held that back into the 50 period. So whether or not that's stupid or not, I don't know. But of course, we're going to take that and see what happens. So that was a good trade for me there on NVIDIA, holding it all the way back. So no way and you know what am I going to be green on that name. So, but we do have a brand new position. So let's face slap this one out as we'll get going now with Amazon. Another name that we like. We talked about dip buying this name. We wrote down 182. So obviously we're going to be a bit early with it. We're long at 183.69 or 183.61, getting some out right now.
Freudian slip there. Amazon making a move then into that. BNED's going to open up in just 1 minute. Here we go. So I got that loaded. I did just finally get that 113. I just left my order there at 113.80. I'm like, I missed it last time. I'm like, whatever. I'm not moving at 2 cents. It just filled me. So we'll ring the register. If we continue to fail these futures highs, then at least this one short, I haven't gotten into AMD, at least this one short's going to make some sense. I just heard a note on GameStop. I'm going to double check that in a quick little second.
Oh, really?
As I said, BNED's going to open up any second now. But Tesla, before we get out of here, Tesla making higher lows. I'm still bidding 180. I don't want to give up on the 180 dip buy. I like that level, but it's starting to hold view up and looking good. And then Rivian, can't ignore Rivian. It wicked underneath 10 and then off to the races on Rivian. I don't know if there's anything going on story-wise. It could just be a bounce off of $10, which it did yesterday. So as long as this is above 10, I think it's got a chance. Bit of a new one. If we never get into Tesla, Rivian could be an absolute runner. It's still a decent enough short float. Yesterday's afternoon high, 10.15. It's held 10.20. If it can start to consolidate there, I would look for like a stair step up. But the chip name we got on short, I thought it would be AMD. We had AMD and that one stunk. And when I say it stunk, my execution on it stunk. The obvious short was really good at 69, but we jumped into ARM when we were able to find a level off that pre-market low. So we're going to hang on to that one to the low of the day on ARM and just see where it goes. If it breaks 113, 112's a level. 111's, every even dollar is a level from yesterday. So we'll just play it by ear if it breaks 113. Let's go to Adara.
There is a bit of a story here in Rivian, so up about 1.5% here, announcing this partnership with Pivot Energy in Illinois to invest in solar locally in the community in Illinois. It is worth noting as well, they do have a 14.7% short float. So RIVN, definitely on the move there, guys.
All right, so the best we ever got out here on Amazon was 74s. Again, there's the 200 period. We buy it all the time. We actually put our order down there. We talked about that. But if it loses it and this market, I don't want to get out because we still have some shares on here, but I'm going to get out of half if we break that. 183, I just don't want to, what is that? That's 34s. I don't know, because the 50 period is all the way down here on the 20-minute. That's 182.80. So I feel like if we come into this, then we're going to have to dance with 183. So that's a problem. So I don't want to, if we can break that, then I do think we go down a little bit further. So maybe we'll get out on a 40 break or something to the downside. So if I'm going to do that, what are we long at? 61, out at 40. So let's try to get 20 cents on this last piece. Maybe we can, not last piece, we're still in more than half, but if we can get up here into 183.80, that gives us at least 1-to-1 on what we have left. We've already taken profit here of a dime or more, some more than that. So we'll wait to see if it gets back up, take it out in and around 79. Yeah, man, we did celebrate NVIDIA obviously, but then now it just pulled back. That was, thankfully, we went to the 50 period and we were actually on the stock and watching it, because remember we were at 952? Well, that 50 period came right in, and that was a perfect spot to get out of that. So we only have now, compared to what we had up here and throughout here, we only have 15% or something left of NVIDIA. But we've made back a decent portion there. So, GME is it at
VWAP and starting to go. No.
It went to 21.20. Okay.
No. It's
I saw people yelling about GME. I'm like, you guys know where I like this name. By the way, there goes Amazon. Bang.
It's bouncing.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I was about to say GME is actually bouncing rather nicely. Higher lows into a potential flat top break. I still wager that this top in here from the last couple of days where it had that late day ramp, 23.5, that's the squeeze breakout. But if it does anything similar to the last few days, it makes a bottom early, sometimes a little bit later into the morning, and then you just want to look for the longs. Yesterday was at 20, 2 days ago was at 18. Maybe it is this 21 level. But I want to be long going into the afternoon on the stock. It's just, there's been a buyer in the afternoon, whether it's 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 3:50, and I just want to be into the long trade no matter what on that stock. So if it breaks 23.5, that's a different story. I think I'll find myself on the bid at some point before then. BNED just broke the highs and came right back. I thought this was going to make a halt. It seems to be resisting the halt bands to the upside, but the last couple of halts have been down on the stock. So it just got another halt band at the top at 135, starting to dip back in. I'm not going to get the dollar level, it looks like. So this 112 halt level and 110 could be the next area to dip by. As I said, I don't want to buy any breakouts on this stock. I only want to buy dips. That's something that we learned. Well, we were trading FFIE the other day, and if you looked at the win ratio for buying sort of the obvious dip levels versus trying to take breakouts of highs of the days, it spoke for itself. So I'm thinking the same thing here on BNED.
All right, let's have a quick look at a few other things. Right now, Palantir kind of doing nothing. This is Palantir 21. There's a level that we like, but without much juice to it right now. Palantir kind of just hovers around here. I mean, why we like this is like it's in this range on the daily chart, but doesn't have the catalysts right now or anything going with it. Well, Snowflake is tonight. So this is the most recent name of this elk that we've bought, Snowflake. It's doing an NVIDIA as well, where it got going early. Like, it's a good thing we weren't looking at this one, because I might have been like, I'm punching long on Snowflake, but I guess we didn't really get there to Snowflake 166. But anyways, there it is, the move in, move back, a little bit of a retracement. That was nice. At least it took out the highs. But there it is, back down to the downside. You see what this market's doing right now? So we're long Amazon, which is okay. We just got some out in the 80s a couple times there. 279s actually, right there on that one. Market's going upside, and our poor NVIDIA is not. So this is something to watch out for. Coming up at 10:30, we have oil coming out. So although Randy, I don't know if Randy predicted something here with XOM, but XOM off the open is like bleed city down here to 115 and change. And again, another sort of shelf that's about to get broken right now to the downside. So
Seriously?
115.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're giving it, not giving it all back. I mean, it was an epic run. But you had basically like 15 of 20 days straight up. Now XOM starting to hit back downside. We did trim some XLE. We talked about that on the, XLE still pretty high. We got out at like 93, 94, I'm thinking it was. We don't have some 98s. Might have been even higher than that. Anyways, we talked about it on the recap show. But into here, we got some out. We've been buying XLE. And we had that same fate all the way to the upside. So now I'm getting a little nervous because this is a decent move down in this name as well. Amazon hovering, those are my ideas right now. We'll go 2 for 3. So we'll win on Amazon here and win really nicely on Shopify and lose really nicely on NVIDIA and be red for the day. So again, like for right now, it is a red day. I still like NVIDIA, and I'm going to try to buy some at 940, but that's it. Like that bottom is what we'll wait for, and then the trigger stop that I have is 938. So that would be $2 on that last piece. Plus, we'll have an average price. We'll probably lose about $3 if that does come through. So let's wait to see what happens there for NVIDIA. Just to let you know, I'm putting on about 6 times the shares that I have now if it comes back into 940.
Yeah, it looks like it. I mean, NVIDIA's coming back, but overall, the market's actually breaking the highs. That's what I see. The Nasdaq's going to take out these highs any second. If you were trading target at the open, that SSR bounce off of 140, well, it's not always exactly like this. This bounced pretty much precisely off the 140 level at 930 and is now at 144. So that's the kind of trade you've got to be at. You've got to be on that level. It happens super fast, and you got to catch that bid right away. Obviously, that's not going to be the case. I didn't get it because NVIDIA, we knew we were going to be there at the open. There was no questions asked was going to be on NVIDIA and AMD at the open on a day like today. I still like the long in Apple, and I said I would try to get involved at VWAP. I did not catch it the first time. The market dips back in again. I'm just going to get on the bid. I think the last time it came down here, I waited for it to bounce and try to catch it on the way up and didn't get it. Now I'm just going to sit on the bid of Apple. That could be the next. AMD still can be in play. That's underneath VWAP. I'm already in ARM, but I do like AMD underneath VWAP for the short. Like ARM, it failed the 50 period on the daily. And then we'd mentioned Rivian with that $10 break. Now a hold of VWAP, which is also around yesterday afternoon's resistance, which was $10 and like 17 cents or so. So looking for a long bounce here on Rivian, just needs to hold VWAP. If you're watching Tesla, I'm not getting rid of this bid yet. But at some point, we give up on any push down into the 180 level where it broke out yesterday, and we start looking for higher lows and some potential breakout in Tesla. We're looking for the Tesla long. But at some point, I'll get away from the plan. I just don't feel like it's strong enough yet to abandon hope of getting a long closer to the 180 level. It's still trending down as far as I'm concerned until it starts holding VWAP. Where's BTC 70,000? I just heard yeah, oh my goodness, Mara breaking out. Yeah, Mara's breaking out a little bit here. Bitcoin's about to take out the 70,000 level. I might look for a long there, but I'm more interested. And we got Shopify still. ARM, looking for some AMD. I don't know if I want to add Mara to the list, especially wanting to trade Rivian.
All right, we can't celebrate the wins without talking about the losses, right? So I'm about to tweet out this NVIDIA trade as well because I don't want there to be some confusion about it. But White?
I can't hear this guy.
Okay. Is it there? So there's some sort of a vote happening today. Adara will get this. I don't want to pause too much, but I tried to punch Ethereum as soon as it started to go back up there. But they're voting on some sort of a reform bill. So I don't know exactly what that is. It doesn't look like it's moving that much, as this is kind of just chilling. So we'll stay tuned for that. But there is some news in cryptoverse right now. But look what's happening right here. This is what trading's about again. Remember, it's about having the ability to bounce back. It's about having that confidence. It's about making new trades, moving on your trade. So I don't know how it's been. Obviously, Neil's been trading over there. A couple different names I haven't looked at today, but we lost on our very first trade with NVIDIA, and we lost badly on it, and we talked about that. But look what we did when we battled back. We hit Shopify long. That was $1 off 59. We got out at $60.10. Then we hit the long Shopify, same trade, but we hit the long that we liked there at 59.50. Able to make a lot back there. And then obviously you just see what's happening with Amazon. So again, you take a bath like crazy on this one, which is not good. You never want to take a hit. But NVIDIA, we get smoked. That's an idea that we had. It didn't work. I mean, flushy, right? And then all of a sudden, we just sit in our chair, you know, take the medicine, and just get right back in that saddle. I mean, if you don't do that, then you don't, you know, you got to have that sort of intestinal fortitude to believe in yourself and get back at it. So that's exactly what we did there right now. And so I'm so happy with being able to hold that, but we're still going to go on and on and on. So Ethereum now just moving around, not much happening there. Maybe this is the story with A.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what the story is going to be today. There are some votes. Again, nothing's really happening in terms of crypto in response to this right now, but they're currently voting today on this 21st Century Act, which is apparently viewed as like the biggest crypto-related bill right now. It's about crypto market structural overhaul, and the White House apparently set not to issue a veto threat against part of this 21st Century Act, which is actually apparently a win, from what I'm seeing, quote, a huge win for people who are backing crypto on Capitol Hill. So they're saying that they're still view this as concern, but there's not going to be a veto threat. So again, we're going to have to see how this goes. But today they are voting on what is viewed as the biggest crypto bill right now, the 21st Century Act, guys.
Okay, thank you very much there, Adair. I mean, you did see a challenge of the 70,000 level on Bitcoin, Ether, ETH holding at about 37 and change. Just going back to like a couple of things that were in here. ARM holding on to what would be like red to green. It closed at 114.77. So that pre-market bottom coincides with that. So I'm shorting off of that level. If it breaks that out, I would wait to see what happens at VWAP. We've only taken one out underneath 114. We got a bid in front of the 113 we have for quite some time. Rivian, for the first time, we're going to be in it. It was a failed break of the $10 level and then a higher low off of VWAP and the afternoon highs. We're going to play the long off 120, stop under VWAP underneath 115. First outs will be in front of 130, and then we'll see how far that one can go. Shop still bouncing on 59. BNED, whoa, there's BNED. It actually just filled. There we go quickly to BNED. Just right back into that last halt down, which was $1.12 here. So it just made another bounce. It happens to be 110 in VWAP as well. If we hold on to 110, great. If it can't hold this level, I'm jumping out and then seeing what happens at $1. So the last trades we've had have only been dip buys on BNED. If it gets back up to the high of the day, I'd like to hold something for a break at the top. But the last time it trailed me out, and I didn't want to get caught in a down hold. So my stop is actually very, very tight in here. If it breaks 109, we will get it out of that one. Josh Moore, what would I do without VWAP? It's just a tool in the toolbox. I actually prefer support into resistance. In this particular case, it's just confluence. The real reason I like that long, and I'll have a tight stop out, is because of the halt levels. Like the first time it get halted here at 98, I'm long at ones with a stop at 98. It had actually more to do with the halt level and the $1 than anything else. In this case, it just so happened that VWAP is going to coincide with that level in there. So again, I think this is not done on BNED, but I'm going to let it calm back down. I'm only looking for dip buys. I want the trend to stay up, which right now, unless it gets back over 110, it's not. So rid of a tight stop there for 3 cents, but I think I explained why I had a tight stop, because it was the halt level I was playing. Let's go to Adair. It's 10:20. Let's talk about the small caps. BNED is halting.
Not too much happening in the IWM this morning. A little bit down on the day, finding a bit of support here. As you can see, these candles looking to the downside, but again, pretty flat for the Russell 2000 so far. Quite a few small caps to talk about, including Frey or Battery, F-R-E-Y. This one up over 20%. Now they've completed their first production trial in addition to some other operational related updates. A nice look for F-R-E-Y. We have a 6.1% short float. Also, Barnes & Noble here, BNED, this one Neil just mentioned, moving around a lot here, lots of social media interest, and a day two move for BNED. And last but not least here, Seattle Mobile, this one falling off a little bit here, but still up about 20%. Initially trading higher after announcing that it's expanding its SD7 rollout at this Baha Mar resort. Bigger thing to note here, though, is going to be some of the facts on this one. We do have a market cap of under $2 million. About 723,000 share float. It's a very small float, and 11.5% of that is going to be sold short, guys.
Okay, so I just noticed you're out of Shopify. Shopify does make a move back in, and now all of a sudden it's coming back up again. So I don't really know what to think about this. I have an offer at 65 to get more out, but Shopify is going to be P&L number one on the show today, thankfully, for that. P&L number one on the downside is going to be NVIDIA, obviously. But there we go, Shopify. Let's see if we can get back up to the upside. And here comes Amazon right back up again. So we are so confident in what we're doing now. It's crazy. Like, I mean, this coming up to the 50 period and us getting out and then dropping off of that, like, I just need to get out of more shares when I see this kind of stuff happening. So again, really good trade there for Amazon, and probably, I mean, not probably, P&L wise, Shopify is a much better one because we made a lot more money. So that's how I sort of judge the trades. But for right now, Shopify, nice move back up here. We just took some out because it dipped back in, kind of hovered around 59, and then back to the upside. We were going to buy more 59s, but we were literally bidding 59.02. It got down to 59.08. So right there, 59.50 is where we're stuck. Let's see what happens here with Shopify.
Yeah, I did get out, but it was a bad stop. I just jumped right back in on Shopify just very quick. I was tweeting out the AMD NVIDIA thing because I wanted to show everybody. Like, sometimes you can have a short in one chip name and a long in another. They can both fail. And mostly they could just diverge or whatever, like they could go in opposite directions. But the other thing that could happen is it's about the execution. And one of the things that happened to me is I was in a little bit early, and I didn't get a shot at the second level. So my stop, I'm never going to hold a 169 off the open to, if I think there's two levels, I'm going to make two trades. But there was no chance to get that trade up there at 170. I was just not fast enough after that initial stop out, and I was into NVIDIA as well. So if you're trading one, if I was only trading AMD, there's a decent chance that I could have gotten back into that short. But if you're trading both, it's going to be tricky to do. BNED's going to open in a couple of minutes, but I am more interested in what's going to happen next in ARM. That's because it's consolidating off the bottom. I'm going to go for another reload because we scalped some out, but the market has now gone back underneath that high. NVIDIA is still kind of trending to the downside, down that 1%, so I feel like this should be failing into 113. If it does not, the aforementioned AMD is retesting above VWAP. And I think if that doesn't happen on ARM, and we do test these highs again, the 169 and the 170 levels, I'm just going to go right back to the well with the original plan, which was to be short at those two levels on AMD. It's a strong one, so because of that, you got to let it get to your price. If a stock is trending and super strong, then be patient with your shorts, and the vice versa for any longs. And then one quick update, Rivian bouncing off VWAP in here. We got 120s, it just got to 128. Take another out in front of the high of the day. This wasn't on the plan. However, $10 was just a fail break on Rivian at through $10, so we put the higher low in on RIVN. If it breaks 1035, hold another piece until we get up into the 1050 to 1055 range. Again, with 5 or 6 cents worth of risk, take some out at 1-to-1, take some out when it gets to the high, then hold the rest for the next level up, which is 1055 on Rivian.
All right, just looking, just want to congratulate everyone behind us that are actually green today. So shout out to those guys. Good job. They must have stayed away from NVIDIA. Let me see what exactly was going on there. Yeah, PDD, the big one today. So, all right. So let's watch out here. That's NVIDIA. I just decided to take some more long, just right here, right now, only because we've come into this level a couple times and bounced. So we're still waiting for 940. Like, that's going to be the last fill. And then I was just thinking, like, a break back down. And then like, we're not averaging into this because, again, we don't want to make... We've already done well making money back on NVIDIA. To throw it all away, again, doesn't make much sense. That bottom right there is 940 and change, 940.40 right there. We do have some kind of levels here at 937. I was going to wait for a 938 break. So if that breaks lower is when I was going to get out. So again, I was trying to give this about $2 on that. Okay, there it is. Look at that reload. I mean, hit the sirens for now. We're $2. I mean, $2 in the money on a reload. Like, so we're making some money back. I mean, there's no doubt about that with NVIDIA. We got to get out if we're going to make any money back, but why not? Why not take this out if we can get up to 947 again? So we'll put a 946 fill. Maybe we get that, maybe we don't. If we can silently make $3, I mean, it's now $2 in the money, $1 more up, and we'll take that, right? So not bad. Let's see what happens here if NVIDIA goes back up to the upside. It's not a bad spot here. The futures obviously have to go, and if we can do that, then there it is again. You know, we're trying to cook it up for you. I mean, look, if you're just, like I said, forget about that first trade. We've already talked about it. We just put on a $2 winner. So there it is, back in there, $2. I mean, I hope you guys got that. Yeah, I know. I mean, this is the problem with NVIDIA. It is against the trend 100%. I just think, like, hey, how much is this going to go down before ultimately I think it gets bought up into the close? Now we're way away from the close. It's only 10:30, so this may not be proper. But we do have an oil number coming in 5 seconds, which will drastically not affect NVIDIA.
I wouldn't think so.
Just waiting for that oil number to come in here. We just got an EIA crude oil stock exchange, so we're getting 1.825 million. The consensus was negative 2.55 million, so that's going to be higher than expected. Gasoline stock changes here. The other important number coming in through, because we have quite a slew of these EIA numbers, negative 0.945 million versus consensus negative 1.2 million. So again, slightly higher than what we were expecting here. In terms of crypto, a lot of stuff to look at here. The biggest thing right now, in addition to the ongoing questions of whether or not the Ethereum ETFs will get approved, because we have those deadlines coming up on Thursday and Friday. We also have voting on the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, or FIT21. Basically what this act would do, a couple different things, basically just regulating crypto, specifically offering protections for blockchains, giving the pathway to safely and effectively launch these blockchains in the US, and also do some oversight of these crypto exchanges. SEC Chair Gary Gensler, though, not a fan, saying that he believes it will leave investors more vulnerable, and that also people who run quote-unquote pump and dump or penny stock related schemes could actually hide behind crypto regulations. So interesting look there, but we're certainly going to have to see how this goes and keep an eye on this vote. We do have as well, of course, the Bitcoin chart. We're still seeing some resistance. We're on that 71,000 level. This is going to be the second time now that we've tried to get above it and failed a little bit on the daily chart. And our second day kind of to the downside right now, just below that 70,000 level. Ethereum also coming back after a lot of strength over the past few days. Still pretty strong though, right above that 3,700 area. And a lot of other weakness in these names, with the exception of Solana up about 1% and a bit, Ripple down about 3%, Dogecoin down 3.5%, Cardano down 5.5%, Shiba Inu down about 3% as well. So lots of weakness in this crypto space, as we have quite a few catalysts to keep an eye on heading into the rest of the week, guys.
All right, so some questions about, thanks Adara for that one, as oil dancing around. We'll look at that in just a minute. There's the updated move there. So PDD's expected move, I mean, look, let's not get too excited about this. The expected move was 9%, it's only moving 3%. And some of these other names, you know, you gotta watch out for compared versus what's actually happening. So right now for NVIDIA, tonight's expected move is 8. So 8%, its last move was 16% on its last earnings. So an 8% implied move for NVIDIA. So let's just say, I mean, for easy math, it's $80, you know, one way or the other here on NVIDIA. So, yeah, I don't know. We're not expecting sort of I would say under. I don't think it's going to be as volatile as 10, but I mean, with this move here today.
Here's a question for you though, like, when we do the over-under, there's the initial move after the earnings, but then there's where it is at the open tomorrow.
Yeah, the initial move doesn't count.
Yeah, because I always feel like, look,
Of course not.
Tomorrow morning, I could easily see it under, but I do expect the actual range at the earnings release up down. If you take top to bottom of whatever the move is after market, that to me will be more than 8%. But from close to open, I don't think will be more than 8%. If that makes any sense. To everybody. I think the movement is easily going to be more than 8%.
Close to open? No. I'm talking about from close today.
Yeah, to open.
To close tomorrow. To open tomorrow.
Open tomorrow. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's less than 8%.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But the wick that we see, that top to bottom of the wick is going to be more than 8%. That's one of the reasons why trading during earnings is insane, because you can get topped. Just look at PDD. It was exactly the same phenomenon. Sure, like it's only 2% up, but if you got yourself trapped, that was $28 top to bottom. Like that was 20% top to bottom on PDD, and the stock is essentially flat. You can easily get rents. And I'm not sitting here saying, whatever, everyone do your own thing. I don't trade earnings. I think I did once, like a few years ago or something like that. Maybe took a few shares, but I don't trade them for that reason. Like unless you have a really, really good plan that's worked for you and you've proven it, it can get pretty dangerous on those wicks. BNED's halting down. Rivian just took out the high of the day, so we'll ring the register on that one. Thank you to everyone that pointed out that Rivian held the $10 level for the third time in the last 4 days, and now bouncing higher. I think 1050 can be in play for this name. I did want to double check Li Auto in a second, but just to go over, I know people are trading this name. Halted downside 90 cents. It did not hold on to that $1 halt level. Now back underneath it. I wasn't really looking shorts, but if it's under $1, I'm gonna pay for locates just so that I'm ready in case this thing continues to flush. I don't think they're gonna be free.
All right, we're cooking it. I mean, this is what it is, man. We've talked about this a few times over and over again. We are not stopping, okay? So we just took another $2 and change there, $2.50 on NVIDIA. It went up to 946, we got out. 91s, we got the 91 fill there. So we got 9.
They're free.
Oh, did I get out of too many shares? No, I didn't. Okay, that's funny. Okay, we got out because we got double filled there. We got out at 945.91 right there. And that dip buy is 943.50. I just want you guys to notice the way I talk, how I talk about the position sizing, how I talk about what I'm doing, and things like that, the confidence, so on and so forth. I think that that's a lot different of attitude that you need to have. All right, so just want everyone to understand that everybody has their different style, but we're two for three. You can ask me at any time if I'm red on the day, what my record looks like. No BS here. Straight telling you the straight facts. Not I did this, I wish I did that. I'm doing this right here. And we're red today. So, all right, do I know why tan? Yeah, what's up, Wolf? Thank you for having faith. I mean, it's not about having faith. It's about having a strategy. And I have confidence in what we're doing. And I think that that's, to me, the most important. And once you get that, then you can start going. We talk about that with share size, and everybody trades differently. It's severely different. So you have to understand your situation. So CompuCare, I mean, the initial sizing strategy, it's honestly, where's that note? There's something I've been working on now for about 4 years. It's just called the sticky note, and these are my #1 trades. So if something's hitting on there, I don't really, so like NVIDIA, I was not expecting this to drop $10, obviously, but we got in there, we averaged in, and then we got out when it broke 950. So that was bad. Like that's a $9 hit, $10 hit, and then we bought some more there at 946. Thankfully, this was okay. We got out at 944.50. That was another $1.50. So, we understand that we have our specific outs. We wanted 950 to hold. So the amount of shares that we take is appropriate with an expected loss if that goes down. Now, obviously, like I said, we will be red on that stock. But if you don't take shots and then you don't stick with sort of what you're doing, like look what we've made back. So we'll lose 12 there, let's just say. There's a dip by 944. So there's an out there, right? Remember, we didn't lose 12 in total. This is just top to bottom. We have outs here. But that's 943.50. That's 948. So that's 450. That's 550. That's, it's all the same trade, so it's fine. That's what I'm saying. That's why when you add this up, it's hard to do this. $9.51, that's $8. There's another $2 back, and we're in the money $2.50 right now. So instead of just taking lumps on the hit, which is fine, you could do that. You know, that's what we did. We still see opportunity to get back in. So when we see that opportunity, we stay with it, and that's sort of what we're doing. And it also led me to Shopify, which is, again, another stock that we were hella confident in and destroyed that one. So you got to have those plays, man. And if that's what it is, then that's what it is. And that's trading, and we talk about that all the time. I'd hope to be green by the end of the day. We'll see what winds up happening. But for right now, it is a red day. And I just want to thank everybody for the nice words on all this talk. And real traders can see what happens around here. So hopefully you guys see this. We're here for you every single day, except for Monday because Memorial Day. So,
Memorial Day.
We won't be here for that. And we've got a lot of busy weekend, man. A lot of baseball this weekend. Tryouts for the rep team.
Oh my God,
we had a practice last night. I ran that practice. 14 kids. It was a lot. It was warm, but it was a heck of a lot of fun, man.
Balls hot yesterday.
I threw a bunch of pitches, and it was a lot of fun. There goes NVIDIA. Let's go. See if we can get up to 950. No more offers. Thank you, 1320 Wolf. 954. If we get something up here, then potentially we'll think about getting out. But let's effing go right now with NVIDIA. A nice move back up to the upside. And diamond hands or not, we had them both ways, right? All the way down to the downside, which hits us, and then all the way back up to the upside. The best traders in history make mistakes, and we made one definitely there. But we've got it. We've made back almost half, of what we lost on that NVIDIA trade. So we happy.
That's sort of the thing. Like for myself, I like the dip buy, and then it turned into a trend down. So once I see that, I just want a stock to trend back up if it loses for the long for me. So if it doesn't hold a support level, if it goes and holds VWAP, just come to the chart. Here we go. If we come back to the chart, if it holds higher lows, then I don't mind getting back in long. We've done that with Alibaba and some of those other ones. I just didn't see it because I didn't have a support level I like down here. I thought underneath the 945, this could be absolutely gonzo. Just very quickly, because I know I've mentioned this, and I have a couple of shop plays on my long-term account. One of them happens to be Moderna. I actually just checked. I just got out of, on my personal account. I didn't even realize, but I did get the notification. I got filled between I think it's like 150, I'll double check, 152.5 or something like that on mRNA. The 100 level is held. Now I'm going to be playing it's a shot play on my personal account. I know sometimes people consider the stock expensive, but I'm going to hold on to the second half for the dream. Now we've talked about this all the time. Sometimes you pay yourself out in these things. It was never meant to be, I'm just gonna hold Moderna like it's NVIDIA or something forever. But it'll bounce off the 50 and the 200, almost too good to be true. Moderna up 8%, it is absolutely screaming. BNED's open back up, but it is failing. Rivian will hold on to this as long as it can continue the upward trend. So VWAP could come back into play for a dip buy. That one looking so far so good, up 2% into a flat market. Overall, completely flat market. Tesla was the other play we thought we'd be doing. It just bounced 180.5. I did miss it. I was bidding 180.22. We've missed out on that. We'll have to look for a higher low, maybe a VWAP trade in there for Tesla. So with that, let's go to Adara. It is past 1040, which means we got to get to Sector Watch.
Pretty mixed picture like we've seen over the last few days. Some of these sectors pretty strong, others pretty weak. We have producer manufacturing pretty much across the board to the downside here. Consumer services, Starbucks and Booking Holdings to the upside, but a lot of these other names are going to be red. Energy minerals red across the board, pretty weak on the day. Consumer durables led to the downside by Tesla here on that 15-month low for European sales for April, but generally pretty weak as a whole in this sector. Industrial services and non-energy minerals also looking pretty weak along with utilities. Some strength, a little bit of strength in communications. Finance, not bad here either. Some health technology names continue to be really strong. Moderna on watch here. They were at one point up about 5%, so mRNA, keep an eye on that one. And of course, our tech sectors. Technology services, with the exception of Google, Netflix, pretty strong here across the board. CRM looking nice. And of course, we do have to talk about our chips, particularly NVIDIA heading into those earnings tonight. NVIDIA pretty weak right now, but AMD, Qualcomm, all pretty strong, and Apple a little bit flat in the day, but lots of sectors to keep an eye on. A lot of them are actually going to be weaker, guys.
Thank you in the chat there. I see like Mrs. Harrington, Tesla's trying. It's absolutely trying. And Luis, SPWR, short float, massive, you say. I can't even make this up. Sharif just turned to me and said, Neil, have you seen SPWR? I answered, absolutely not. I had not looked at SunPower. 29% to the upside. It's got a decent enough short float. I can double check it very, very quickly. That can't be. Is it really 95% short, this thing? All right, so trade ideas, just to prove that I didn't just throw that number out of nowhere. I have 95% short on SPWR, SunPower. Whether or not that's actually true, those are just estimates and they get updated all the time, every single month usually. That feels a little bit high to me, but whatever. It's highly shorted. It's absolutely running, no questions about it. This was a runner last week that participated in some of that squeeze play. So I'm not saying it gets back to those levels, but after it got pulled back, after that massive squeeze, the high was about 370. So if it takes out, let's just check that, 380. So if it gets through 380 and even the $4 level, this could really start to go. That said, it's not the top of my radar. I would have to break those levels for me to get excited. I think you're either in early or you're waiting for it to squeeze past another level. What we have pivoted to is the second I was out of NVIDIA, we started shorting ARM off the 114.75 level. That's a previous close. It just got another reload, got some out when it tagged the 114, looking for the low of the day and then a hold through there. The NASDAQ is starting to come back in. This is the only short I have on, is ARM. I thought maybe we'd get into some AMD. That hasn't happened. I just noticed that I could be looking at Intel off of VWAP. That could be another play. But yeah, ARM's the one short we have. And then we're still in Rivian and Shop. They haven't cared about the market so far. But that SPWR, good looking squeeze name, through 380, that could really start to go. Just remember, check out those levels. It got to like $7 last week when all that meme craze was going on. So it's got some bigger levels up there.
All right. Okay, just quickly here. So I actually just realized, I just heard Sharif talk about Apple quickly there. And I was just like, I'm still waiting to short this thing actually at 192.85. That order's been pending since, well, it would have been earlier, but I was out. Since pre-market there on this fill, and we just didn't get it yet. I can't, that high is 83. I didn't even realize we were up there, to be honest with you, because I haven't looked at Apple at all. We should be short. Like if I put in 80, we'd be short. So we'll wait on this right now. I'm actually going to cancel it for now. Although we did write down Apple 183 short as a good idea for us. You know, we still have Tesla 186. Let's have a look. I know it's down, but we knew that Tesla would be a downside mover today, and it has. We just wrote down 186. And unfortunately, you know, in the pre-market, we're up here at 184, 183, but it's just been down for then. So we'll have to look at 200 period moves for that one. As come on, NVIDIA. Look, guys, we're $4 now back in the money on this. And that's starting to go. So this is a good battle back right there on that one. And then again, to get out of Shopify on the way up, we now have less than 5% left of Shopify, just holding on to see what happens down there at 59. I mean, we're going to be out of here very soon, so I don't know if this is going to be winning or not into the afternoon. But I just want everybody to notice that, like, the 200 period used to be at 954. Now it's at 952. Everything is starting to slope down. NVIDIA's been hella weak. I think it can get back to green, obviously, or I wouldn't be holding this. A market that goes back up to the upside would help, but you're under the 50 period and having this decision at 18.8. 18.8 has been a key level, as we've talked about that over and over again. So wouldn't be surprised if NVIDIA does come through and look at 940 again. That's $7 from now. So I don't want to panic. We're long right now at a decent level. Look, Hamster, I wish I had the lunch. We don't have it yet. So as soon as we get whatever is for lunch today, I will be dropping that. So for right now, nothing apparently is for lunch.
There will be.
We'll be having a salad. Yeah, I got the egg salad yesterday.
You're the only one that got it.
Yeah, I know. That's how I roll. And then
chicken strips for us.
Yeah, exactly. When I saw that, I was like, yes, dub. All right, so yeah, you're welcome, Hamster. I'm going to say that today, let me predict what today might be. I'm going to say today would be chicken teriyaki with Chinese greens and some kind of rice.
Yesterday I thought pasta, so I'm just going to go with pasta again. Maybe meatballs. We haven't had the meatballs in a while, so let's go with whatever. I don't know what kind of pasta. Just some kind of pasta with meatballs is my guess. I didn't even realize this, but a couple of people put it in the chat, and then Fabian mentioned that AMC was breaking lows, GameStop also breaking lower. So remember those levels from the afternoon on GameStop where it bounced? It's getting down there, and the pattern has been dip all morning, at least the last 3 days. Dip all morning or most of the morning or a good portion of the morning, catch a bid, and then absolutely ramp it for the rest of the day. So it's starting to get into that those lows from yesterday, whether it's 20.5 or 20. I don't know if it gets down to 18 today. That seems a little bit unlikely. I am looking to be long in the afternoon on GameStop. So I don't think I'll get on the bid now. The bounces have usually been at noon or later, but I am looking at that one for some potential upside. The only other thing that we haven't gotten into that I feel like should be part of the plan, this Mara is up 4%, dipping right into 21, which if you haven't noticed the last 3 days, well, 21's kind of a thing for Mara. Late afternoon on Monday, then yesterday, the actual bottom yesterday, and then again today bouncing off 21. That's a triple bottom and a breakout. So I like this one for a trend up today. We'll look at 22 even, maybe even VWAP to try and participate. I keep checking to see if we're breaking 70,000. That's the other thing. Bitcoin could break 70,000 today. So I think it bears watching over there in MRA. On Mara, MARA. BNED's still underneath $1. I actually went to pay for shorts and then double checked. They're free. I just assumed that we had to pay.
Right.
But before I hit enter, I'm like, wait a minute, Neil. Actually put an offer out to try to go short, which I've only been long the stock, and it turns out that we have free locates here at Real Trading on BNED. It's battling to get above $1, but I see a bit of a trend down here after failing that dollar level at the open. I've only been long. If it does one more fail, like fail to get above VWAP and back under $1, I'd look for short underneath that dollar. But not until it makes one more push into VWAP here. Let's go to the desk. It's time for Money Talks with Adair.
DXY continuing to move to the upside from what we saw for the last couple of days, but we could be potentially running into resistance at this previous 105 area that's kind of acted alternatively as resistance and support. So this could be something to watch out for. If you're looking at the DXY on a daily chart, not a huge economic data day today like we've had for the rest of this week up to this point. We did have existing home sales coming in a little bit lower than expected for the month of April, 4.14 million versus 4.21 million as the estimate. We did have Feds Goolsbee talking earlier today, not seeing any comments from that. But tomorrow we're going to be getting some more economic data here. Initial jobless claims coming in at 8:30, then at 9:45 we're going to be getting S&P services PMI flash, manufacturing PMI flash, and composite PMI flash. Also stay tuned for 2 p.m. today. We're going to be getting the FOMC meeting minutes, so the minutes from the last FOMC meeting coming in at 2 p.m. today, guys.
Yeah, well, Moderna's at 160.
If I had more Moderna in my personal account, I would have sold covered calls instead of covering. But it is what it is. Like this stock is like it's ridiculous, up 10%. The other thing too is Pfizer caught a bid, relatively speaking, so it's making a bounce. That said, without even looking at the daily chart, it bounces off 26 and it goes to 30 on the daily. Okay, well it's more like 29 and change. There it is, bounces off every single time. It bounces off 26, it goes to 30. It bounces off 26, it goes to 29.10. It bounces off 26, it goes to now 29.10 once again. So wake me up when Pfizer holds a bid above $30, and I'll think that this one is going. Just full disclosure, I also have Pfizer at $26 in my account, and it has done absolutely nothing for me. You can see for yourself. Pfizer versus Moderna. Moderna's been winning that battle. Probably surprising to some, but if you've been paying attention, not to many.
Yeah, Pfizer's been hot garbage for a while. Nice to see it getting back upside. So that's
2
good.
years.
The 200 period is 30, so I think it takes that out. So that would be nice. We've been buying some Pfizer at the bottom as well. Let's check in on Eli Lilly. That was a name that we just bought a couple weeks ago, right there, 800. So we saw that news yesterday from China. That is a good story for sure for Eli Lilly right now. All right, so that's what's happening there. Shopify doing a whole heck of a nothing, and so is Amazon. So let's go back over and have a look at GameStop. Is anything happening with GameStop? With less than 8 minutes to go before we go over to the flagship with the midday show. So here we go. GME trying to come in into 20. So we know the story there. If that happens, I may or may not be here again in and around lunchtime, but that's a good level. I definitely like that to come through. Possibly looking, so we do have our out still set for, I mean, look, you know where my out is for Amazon, so we already have this stop in there. We talked about that. Hold on a second, cancel. Our stop was at 50 again, because we had talked about that sort of wick down, and now it was 38 or something like that. So 40s. So right there was going to be our stop. That's 50. Give it a little bit of room. So in what's already been 11 cents worth of risk, we've taken 40s and 50 cents, and now we only have, unfortunately, 10% left, looking to get a little bit more, and possibly right here, right now. I mean, Amazon's stronger than the market. I don't want to layer into anything right now, but if Amazon can dip in, because we have such a small amount of this shares, I think that there's a good opportunity for a good little reload in and around 183 for Amazon if that dips. But my biggest, I guess, position monetarily wise, I guess, would be NVIDIA. So we're still going to wait for that one to do something. It's really gone to sleep. I actually don't mind that it's not doing anything. I still think the trajectory is higher into the close. So the closer we get to the close, the more I like the long. And then Apple as well. I mean, we just talked about it. We have the short, and it was at 192.85, and we missed that by 3 pennies. So good call on the short, retracing all the way back now down into 192.30 here for Apple. So let's wait to see what's going on. But, oh man, Randy, when you came that first time, we were in a heck of a lot of trouble, but we've done some damage back on NVIDIA here. Bought those dips, bought this dip, and got a little bit out. Now we see if NVIDIA can continue its move higher. And then we're looking for Tesla short, but that's kind of been short all day. So maybe bump up into 180, 183, something like that. Yo, hello. That's looking pretty good, 183. But right now we're $3 in the money on NVIDIA, and we're just kind of chilling here, waiting for lunch. I don't know. We are trying to guess what's for lunch. Neil said some kind of a pasta. I said
meatballs.
Teriyaki.
I like meatballs.
Brisket. Oh, you want to go for brisket?
Oh, well.
My parents might be around here, so I don't know what my story is going to be for lunch. But for right now, there goes NVIDIA.
Take
up
them to get
almost
brisket.
$3 now to the upside.
Take some NVIDIA profit. Get George.
I have no NVIDIA profit.
Okay, well, I'm talking about the last trade. Look, at the end of the day, you go from trade to trade. So, like, last trade, good. But George and Death probably like the brisket.
They like everything.
Well, I mean, everybody likes brisket.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep saying brisket until we go for, I wasn't there the one time you and Randy went for brisket. I'm just going to keep saying it until eventually I get it. But I specifically meatballs. Pasta is not a fair guess because...
Yeah, it's okay. It's a good
Because
guess.
like the pasta, you could have pasta 2 or 3 times a week, but it's like the main we care about. Like, is it chicken? Is it salmon? I have no idea.
We just got more Shopify.
I like meatballs. Just one more thing. Only because Randy came by, Polestar just rejected $1 again. This is now 2 days in a row. This has rejected the dollar level. You already saw what happened with that big 103. It's not really moving, but if this continues trend down, it could get relatively nasty on Polestar. We got about 3 minutes to go here. No, I'm not saying it. Chef Joe, why do I have to say pasta or pasta? I'll say it how I want to say it. Pasta. It's pasta. Say it. Pasta. I like to say it. It is what it is. To each their own. I'm a Canadian. I feel like a Canadian. But some concern with ARM here. The market keeps bouncing off 18.8. I just scalped some out again, but you're making some higher lows. Going back into the overnight, like you're still making higher lows in the overall market. And this is now consolidating off of the bottom. So there hasn't been that run of the low. NVIDIA hasn't really broken any lower. It's holding a bit of a flag. I don't know that I want to take a third swing at this is what I'm getting at here. Like either it starts failing now or we just got to walk away from it there was one other thing I wanted to get to. Tesla, the 180 bounce. I've canceled the bid. It's now 11 o'clock. So I've canceled the bid where I was just sitting in front of the 180 level. If it gets down there, I probably still play it, but I'm not just going to sit there at 22s. During lunchtime, if it tests 180, I'm probably going to get 180.01 or 02 or something like that. It's a different move at the open. We were expecting that wick down and then back up, as opposed to like a consolidation at lunchtime where you want to be tight to that level at the 180 on Tesla. It's trend down, so we can afford to be patient with it the way it is going. In here, Moderna, Pfizer should be on watch. I don't have any trades for either, but I will tell you, like if Pfizer does break $30 and close above, I'm going to start looking for longs on that one on almost a daily basis. Yes, it's up 2%. That looks like a great looking chart, but when you pull up the daily chart, I think until it gets above 30, I'm not a huge fan of the long in this stock until it does that.
Now $4 on NVIDIA back to the upside on the reloaded trade. So we're starting to go right here again. Thing is, we will have P&L 1 to the downside NVIDIA, but then we'll have the top two names on the upside as well with both Shopify and Amazon. So we'll go 2 for 3. We have the 2 big winners and the 1 big loser. Net red on the day. So that's, again, we talked about proper share sizing. You got to get that all figured out. But look at this. You want to have confidence. Adara's coming here soon. She's talked about that. She made up a nice little fun word. But there it is. We just bought more Shopify down there at 59. So stay with what you're doing, man. We talked about this. We've already hit Shopify once down here. We put that in the pocket, put on more shares again, and bring it back to the upside with another bid there at 59 long, out now in the 20s. We actually got long. We're just long at 11. So all we're doing right now is just putting more money in our pocket and licking the wounds from this $5 winner right now. Spin it for NVIDIA. I just hope that you guys bought this dip right there. I mean, if anything, the first 10 minutes, nightmare action on NVIDIA for me. So what? All right, we're still in there. You know, I went back there, and you know who I saw? I saw Big Patty Ice. You know what Big Patty Ice goes? He goes, there's still time on the clock, my guy. And then that's exactly what it's all about. So shout out to the next one, Big Patty Ice back there coming through. So we're, you know, and again, that's what it's all about. Share the love with other traders because, honestly, you got to have those good vibes filling up. We talked about Ethereum as well. We should have bought that when we first heard that news, by the way, which was right here. I was getting long. I was trying to get long down here. Then this move happened, and then this move happened. So bye-bye to ETH moving upside right now. Huge move. And by the way, here comes Amazon. Here comes Amazon. Here comes Amazon. Right to PL1. So we'll see what happens right now with Amazon. No, Shopify's PL1 is number 2. But there's Amazon. We'll take an out here if we can in and around the 90s. And let's just get NVIDIA going. Now NVIDIA's $5 in the money and trying to get back upside. So here we go. Shout out to my guy Dak as we are getting ready to get upside plays here on NVIDIA. Where's my order, you may ask, or you may not? My order is at 957. That's where we're going to get out of this. And we'll have a $13 winner on board if and when that happens. Or I could change my mind and get out of VWAP. Stay tuned.
And stay tuned, you shall. But, how to trade. No, I was going to transition for you.
What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl Adara, and I'm Sharif.